Chapter 1868. After flying for another half a day, he still couldn't reach the seemingly nearby mountain peak. Qin Fen was sure that he was trapped in a psychedelic array, but he couldn't find a way to break it. "Master, why don't you look in the formation compendium?" Little Pig suggested. In his anxiety, Qin Fen had forgotten about the Encyclopedia of Array Formations. When he had first purchased this manual, he had roughly scanned through it. This manual recorded in detail the layout and deciphering of many array formations. It even recorded level 7 king arrays, level 8 immortal arrays, and even pinnacle level 9 arrays. After flipping through the formation compendium, Qin Fen checked the high-grade arrays recorded in the last few pages. He knew that the psychedelic array in front of him was at least a level 5 spiritual array. Otherwise, he would have been able to find the array I. There were too many high-grade arrays recorded in the secret manual. Qin Fen didn't dare to miss any of them. He flipped through them one by one. After another half a day, his eyes lit up. He finally found a similar array. Space Disorientating Array, a type of level 8 immortal array. The array I is set in the air. The array is maintained by absorbing spiritual energy from the spirit gathering array. The array I changes according to the density of spiritual energy. After studying the space disorientating array carefully, Qin Fen vaguely felt that the psychedelic array in front of him was the space disorientating array. No wonder he couldn't find the array I. The array I was set in the air and could change at any time. Qin Fen had actually seen arrays with changing array I's before. The teleportation array that appeared in the martial world outside of China changed at any time. There was also the White Spirit Mountain array that Qin Fen found in the North Sand continent changed at any time. These arrays were all high-grade arrays. They were at least level 8 immortal arrays. Qin Fen even suspected that the teleportation array that led to the Divine Continent was at least a peak level 9 array. He couldn't imagine who set up these arrays. If the person who set up these arrays was still alive, he could probably kill a true form or even a true God realm expert with just this array formation technique alone. Qin Fen put aside these messy thoughts. Now was clearly not the time to think about these problems. He immediately checked the method to break the space disorientating array. The secret manual recorded more than 10 methods to break the array. However, with his current cultivation and array skills, he could only try the third method. The reason why the disorienting space array existed was mainly because it absorbed the spirit chi from the spirit gathering array. As long as the spirit gathering array was destroyed, the disorienting space array would naturally be destroyed. However, Qin Fen was stumped once again. He didn't discover the existence of a spirit gathering formation nearby. Or, it could be said that this hidden spirit gathering formation was of an extremely high level. With Qin Fen's current formation skills, it would be difficult to find it. For a moment, Qin Fen had a strong urge to improve his formation skills. However, he knew that improving the level of formation skills was even more difficult than cultivating. He had to constantly set up and break formations, and he also had to have a strong perception. Otherwise, he might be stuck at the level of a rank 4 formation master forever. At times like this, he needed to think calmly. Qin Fen simply sat cross-legged and tried his best to calm his emotions. His mind was full of thoughts as he tried to think of a way to break the disorienting space formation. Since he couldn't use the dozen or so methods recorded in the compendium of formations, he would have to find a new method. After thinking for a long time, Qin Fen suddenly opened his eyes. Such a simple method, why did you only think of it now? His face revealed a joyful expression. He suddenly clapped his hands and carved a seal on the spirit stones. This was the appearance of setting up a formation. Soon, a rank 4 spirit gathering formation was completed. However, his hands didn't stop at all and started to set up a second spirit gathering formation. The method that Qin Feng thought of to break the formation was very simple. It was to use the spirit gathering formation that he set up to absorb the spirit energy. This way, the disorienting space formation wouldn't have enough spirit energy to circulate, and it would eventually break by itself. However, Qin Feng knew that the hidden spirit gathering formation in the disorienting space formation was of a very high level. Therefore, he had to use quantity to suppress the high-grade spirit gathering formation. That was why he was continuously setting up rank for spirit gathering formations. After a day, Qin Feng had set up more than 50 spirit gathering formations. After these formations were set up, Qin Feng's ability to set up rank for spirit gathering formations had reached the point of perfection. Whether it was the speed of setting up the formation or the effect of the formation, they were all greatly improved compared to before. Through the process of continuously setting up the formation, he had some new understanding of the formation in his mind. He didn't realize that in the process of setting up the formation, the Heart Sutra of the Creation chapter was circulating on its own and emitting surging vital energy from his body. So a rank 4 spirit gathering formation can be set up like this. But this formation doesn't seem like a rank 4 great formation. Countless thoughts suddenly appeared in Qin Feng's mind, and they were all about formations. He was immersed in these new concepts of setting up formations, and he even forgot that he was still breaking the disorienting space formation. He began to break the conventional method of setting up formations, and he used a new method to create a spirit gathering formation. At first, his technique was a bit rusty, and he even failed halfway through the process. However, after summarizing and practicing, he set up a brand new spirit gathering formation. No! This isn't a rank 4 spirit gathering formation. When the brand new formation was placed in front of him, Qin Feng's expression changed greatly. At this time, Little Pig's pleasantly surprised voice sounded, "Congratulations, Master. You've become a rank 5 spirit formation master. This is a rank 5 spirit gathering formation." Realization dawned on Qin Feng. When he looked at the newly set up formation in front of him again, he was sure that it was indeed a rank 5 spirit gathering formation. There was a huge difference between a rank 4 spirit gathering formation and a rank 5 spirit gathering formation. At the rank 5 spirit gathering formation, the formation core would automatically produce spirit chi. Although this spirit chi wasn't enough to maintain the formation's operation, it could protect the formation for a long time. This was also the reason why rank 7 king formations and rank 8 immortal formations could last for hundreds of years. The formation cores of those great formations also contained spirit chi, and they were even more powerful than rank 5 spirit gathering formations. After confirming that he had really set up a rank 5 spirit gathering formation, Qin Feng was overjoyed. 2 days ago, he was still hoping to have a breakthrough in his knowledge of formations, but he didn't expect this breakthrough to come so suddenly. Qin Feng quickly calmed himself down. He realized that even if he had set up a rank 5 spirit gathering formation, it would be difficult to suppress the spirit gathering formation within the disorienting space formation. This was because after becoming a rank 5 spirit formation master, Qin Feng still couldn't find the hidden formation core of the spirit gathering formation. It seemed that the formation had surpassed the level of a rank 5 spirit gathering formation. If the level wasn't enough, the quantity would make up for it. Qin Feng began to continuously set up a rank 5 spirit gathering formation. At the same time, as he set up the rank 5 spirit gathering formation, he gained many new insights into formations. Just as he was immersed in understanding formations, Little Pig's surprised cry woke him up. "Master! The disorienting space formation is broken." Qin Feng immediately looked in front of him. The scene in front of him had changed greatly. His surroundings were no longer the Gobi Desert. The environment was even worse than the Gobi Desert. He was now in an environment that was half Gobi and half desert. There was a mountain peak several dozen miles away. It was the same mountain peak that Qin Feng had seen before. However, the mountain peak was much clearer than before. He could feel that it was really right in front of him. It wasn't as hazy as before. Qin Feng immediately stored the spirit gathering formation into his star ring and flew towards the mountain peak on his flying sword. In just over half an hour, he was already standing at the foot of the mountain peak. It seemed that the disorienting space formation was really broken. Rumble. The sound of thunder filled the sky. When Qin Feng arrived at the foot of the mountain, he was immediately stunned by the scene in front of him. This was an incomparably pitch-black mountain. The sky above the mountain peak was covered with dark clouds and a sea of lightning crisscrossed. It was like a scene from the end of the world. Looking at the surrounding environment, it had completely turned into a desert. The area closer to the foot of the mountain, it was even worse than a desert. It was a field of dust and dirt. It reminded Qin Feng of the primordial battlefield after he went to the secret realm of White Spirit Mountain. He fell from the volcano where he found the purple ghost flame and fell all the way to the primordial battlefield. Qin Feng even suspected that this place was also a primordial battlefield. However, he quickly dispelled this thought. Back when he was in the secret realm of White Spirit Mountain, there were many weathered corpses and treasures. However, there was nothing in the dust at the foot of the mountain. Qin Feng suddenly felt a little disappointed. He began to suspect that the spirit-seeking bug senses were wrong this time. How could there be treasures in this place that was even more desolate than a desert? He raised his head and looked at the sea of lightning above the mountain. Although he was looking at it from a few hundred meters away, he was still suffocated by the residual power of the thunder. He even suspected that this sea of lightning was even more ferocious than the lightning tribulation he triggered when he broke through the Buddha aura. Going up there would only result in death. However, at this moment, the signal from the spirit-seeking bug became stronger. The little bug was squeaking excitedly. Qin Feng didn't need to say anything. Little Pig translated, "Master." The spirit-seeking bug said that there is treasure on the mountain. Qin Feng immediately rolled his eyes. He was afraid that the bug would say something like this at this time. Little Pig, in the past, are there any records of the spirit-seeking bug killing its master? There are no such records. However, there are records that say that the spirit-seeking bug is the #1 treasure-seeking bug on the Divine Continent. Its treasure-finding rate is as high as 99%. It almost never makes a mistake, Little Pig said seriously. Although he was depressed, Qin Feng knew that he had to go up to the Black Lightning Mountain. Moreover, he had many doubts about the Black Lightning Mountain. Where did this sea of lightning come from? Moreover, there was only thunder and lightning above the Black Mountain. Once it left the Black Mountain, it would be normal weather. This was enough to prove that this Black Mountain was not ordinary. Qin Feng decided to go up the mountain, but he would not act recklessly. He took out a pink flying sword, which he had obtained from the storage ring of Zhang Fei, a disciple of the Sea League, before entering the 13 palaces. With a thought, the flying sword drew a pink light and rushed into the sky. In just a few breaths, it had disappeared into the sea of lightning above the Black Mountain. The moment the flying sword entered the Black Mountain, Qin Feng suddenly lost contact with the flying sword. He couldn't withdraw the flying sword even if he wanted to. It was blown up just like that. Qin Feng was dumbfounded. It was a pink flying sword, but it was blown into nothingness the moment it flew into the sea of lightning. This showed how ferocious the lightning on the Black Mountain was. Chapter 1869. The lightning on the Black Mountain could instantly destroy spirit weapons, so Qin Feng naturally wouldn't go up the mountain directly. He sat at the foot of the mountain and started to set up a formation, trying to draw the lightning down. After he could set up a level 5 spirit gathering formation, Qin Feng tried to set up a level 5 lightning storage formation. He found that once he broke through the bottleneck and understood the essence of the formation, he just needed to make some slight changes and he would be able to understand everything. The first level 5 lightning storage formation was formed. Because it was his first time setting it up, he spent a lot of time and energy. Fortunately, the level 5 lightning storage formation was successfully activated, proving that Qin Feng had completely stepped into the ranks of a level 5 spirit formation master. Next, the level 5 lightning storage formation became easier. Not only did the formation speed become faster, but the energy in the formation also became stronger. After spending half a day, Qin Feng created a total of 50 level 5 lightning storage formations. He let out a long breath and focused his eyes on the Black Mountain. Now was the time to test the effect of these lightning storage formations and whether the lightning on the Black Mountain could leave the Black Mountain. Swoosh! With a wave of his hand, a dozen formation flags fell to the ground. A loud sound came from the mountain peak. Several waist-thick black lightning bolts exploded a few hundred meters in front of Qin Feng. At the moment of the explosion, Qin Feng felt the ground shake violently as if there was an earthquake. He saw the level 5 lightning storage formation that he activated explode and his eyeballs almost fell to the ground. At this moment, Qin Feng was pleasantly surprised. He was shocked by the power of the lightning on the Black Mountain. At the same time, he was happy that the sea of lightning on the Black Mountain could be drawn out. Qin Feng realized that the lightning bolts could be drawn out from the Black Mountain. This way, he could seal the lightning source in the energy slot and provide it to the 100-mile light sniper. The level 5 lightning storage formation that was destroyed was just a test for Qin Feng to test the power of the lightning bolts. Since a level 5 lightning storage formation couldn't withstand the power of the lightning source, then he would just activate a few more. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. For a time, Qin Feng's hands shot out unceasingly. Hundreds of array flags scattered like flowers from the heavens. Several hundred meters in front of him emitted bursts of strange energy fluctuations. This time, Qin Feng simply activated the remaining 49 thunder storing arrays. He didn't believe that they would be destroyed by the thunder source. The moment the formation was activated, an earth-shattering sound came from the Black Mountain. This time, dozens of black lightning bolts, each as thick as a human's waist, descended from the sky like dozens of black dragons. The array formation did not explode in an instant, but the 49 lightning storage arrays were filled up in an instant, and cracks even appeared on a few of the arrays. Even though Qin Feng saw it with his own eyes, he still found it hard to accept. He thought to himself, what the hell was this thunder source on the Black Mountain? It was even more ferocious than the 9 changes true thunder triggered by his breakthrough. He quickly came to his senses and immediately kept the array flags. The 49 lightning storing arrays were shut down, and only then did the surging thunder and lightning from the Black Mountain stop. Looking at the 49 thunder accumulating arrays filled with thunder sources, Qin Feng's eyes shined with a green light. It was as if he had found a sweet spring in a desert. Without thinking, he took out the energy tank and began to absorb the thunder source's energy. When he went to Coiling Dragon Mountain to search for treasures, Qin Feng had used up all the thunder source in the energy tank during his battle with Hong Fei. Afterwards, Hong Fei had been frightened by him and used the Grade 7 Escaping Earth Talisman to escape. Otherwise, Qin Feng would have been killed. Now that the energy tank was in a completely empty state, the speed at which it absorbed the thunder source was extremely fast. In less than an incense stick of time, all the thunder source in the 20 lightning storing arrays had been sucked dry, and the energy tank had reached a state of saturation. This caused Qin Feng to once again be shocked by the might of the thunder sea on the Black Mountain. It had to be known that when he broke through to the 7 changes Buddha aura, the thunder tribulation he triggered hadn't been able to fill up the energy tank. But thinking about it, Qin Feng understood. Now he was arranging a Grade 5 lightning storing array, and the one he had arranged was only a grade 4 lightning storing array. When the energy tank was full, Qinfen began to worry again. There were still 29 thunder source left in the lightning storing arrays. These thunder source were violent and ferocious, as if it could break through the lightning storing arrays at any time. Qinfen didn't dare to imagine the consequences if the lightning storing arrays were broken. He knew that it would be a great catastrophe for him, and it was hard to say whether he could survive or not. However, he didn't have any other treasures to store thunder source, and he didn't have the time to check the grade 5 lightning storing arrays. Qinfen hurriedly entered his consciousness into the system, planning to buy an energy tank. The energy tank that Qinfen had was the smallest model in the system, but it still cost him 500,000 hedonist points. He looked at his remaining 1,429,000 hedonist points, gritted his teeth, and spent 1 million hedonist points to buy a medium-sized energy tank. Ding! Host has spent 1 million hedonist points and successfully purchased an energy tank. Host's total hedonist points, 429,000. Host has spent a total of 7,830,000 hedonist points. Host will be promoted to a rank 9 hedonist mortal after spending another 2,170,000 hedonist points. Host, please continue to work hard. The system notification sounded. Qinfen was in a good mood as he saw that he was getting closer and closer to becoming a rank 9 hedonist mortal. A brand new energy tank appeared in his hand. It was the same size as Qinfen's energy tank. However, when he held the energy tank in his hand, Qinfen could clearly feel that the hidden energy in it was much more abundant. The energy tank had already been thrown out by Qinfen, and it quickly absorbed all the lightning in the remaining 29 lightning storage arrays. At this time, the energy in the energy tank had not even reached half its capacity. This directly proved that it had an enormous storage capacity. After storing all the thunder source, Qinfen's heart finally calmed down. However, when he looked at the Black Mountain again, his heart became heavy. 49 grade 5 lightning storing arrays could definitely store an enormous amount of thunder source energy. Qinfen thought that the sea of lightning on the Black Mountain would weaken, but he realized that he was overthinking. The sea of lightning was still as ferocious as ever, as if nothing had changed. Are you kidding me? How am I supposed to go up? Qinfen complained. This time, he was really at his wit's end. Little Pig's voice came, Master. The spirit-seeking insect senses can't be wrong. It is certain that there is a treasure on the mountain top. However, with Master's current cultivation, going up the mountain is equivalent to throwing your life away. I suggest that you wait until the next time the 13 Palaces opens. Qinfen frowned. Even Little Pig advised him to give up. This meant that this Black Lightning Mountain was more terrifying than he imagined. However, Qinfen didn't have the time to wait. He urgently needed an opportunity to break through. The next time the 13 Palaces opened was 10 years later. Did he have to wait 10 years to avenge Yang Jun and the others? As if feeling the change in Qinfen's mood, Little Pig finally sighed, Master. If you really want to go up the mountain, then prepare more lightning guiding arrays and lightning storing arrays. Also, put on your spirit armor. If you really are in a life or death situation, then immediately enter the astral world. This was the first time Qinfen heard Little Pig speak in such a tone. His heart even wavered a little, but the thought of retreating quickly disappeared. If he retreated every time he encountered an opportunity because it was difficult and dangerous, then he could forget about breaking through to the next realm. He could forget about taking revenge and protecting the people around him. He could just sit and wait to be killed by stronger cultivators. This wasn't what Qinfen wanted. He knew that he had to become stronger because there were too many people that needed his protection. In the blink of an eye, 3 days passed. Qinfen had already set up more than 200 lightning storing arrays and a dozen lightning guiding arrays at the foot of the mountain. He had almost used up all the materials he had collected over the years to set up the arrays. However, he knew that he had to be conservative. Otherwise, he would lose his life and all the cultivation resources would be useless. In these 3 days, Qin also discovered some patterns. The lightning on the Black Mountain became the most intense at sunrise. It even forced Qin to retreat a few hundred meters to set up the arrays. However, when the sun set, the lightning source weakened a little, and Qin could move another 100 meters closer to the Black Mountain. However, the weakening of the lightning source was only relative to when it was at sunrise. For Qin, even when the sea of lightning was at its weakest, it was still incomparably powerful. At the very least, it wouldn't be any weaker than the lightning tribulation he triggered when he broke through. After all the preparations were done, Qin waited for the sun to set. He looked at the setting sun halfway down the mountain and took out his flying sword. Golden light flashed. In just a few breaths of time, Qin crossed the several hundred meters. When he entered the mountainside, he felt as if he had broken through a barrier. He immediately understood that there was an array set up on the Black Mountain. It should be a shielding array that cut off the connection between the Black Mountain and the outside world. In an instant, Qin understood many things. No wonder there was only a turbulent sea of lightning above the Black Mountain and no changes in the weather outside. Also, Qin realized that this shielding array had been around for too long and was about to disappear. Otherwise, he wouldn't have drawn the sea of lightning to the lightning storing array outside. These thoughts only flashed through his mind. He suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. The moment he entered the shielding array, a black lightning bolt landed on his body, instantly turning several of the spirit armors on his body into powder. These spirit armors were the spoils of war that Qin had killed and robbed. Their levels weren't too high. He simply didn't have the time to feel distressed over a dozen spirit armors being destroyed in an instant. He felt that if he didn't put up a resistance, he would be smashed to pieces in the next second in this sea of lightning. Shwa! When 3 black lightning bolts as thick as a person's waist appeared above his head, Qin immediately threw out several hundred array flags. These array flags were like flowers scattered by a celestial maiden, falling on the lightning guiding array and lightning storing array at the bottom of the mountain. A burst of loud sounds came from outside. Qin looked at the black lightning above his head and let out a sigh of relief. However, he didn't stop at all and immediately urged his flying sword to rush towards the top of the mountain. The Black Mountain wasn't high. It seemed to be only 100 meters or so. However, when Qin really climbed up the mountain, he discovered that this distance of 100 meters was hundreds of times more difficult than climbing to the top of Mount Everest. As he flew higher and higher, thunder roared in his ears. The loud sound was about to burst his eardrums. The lightning bolts circling above his head crisscrossed, like dense spider webs. So the thunder source is at the top of the mountain. The closer I get to the top, the fiercer the attack of the lightning. I'm only halfway up the mountain and I'm already half dead. How can I reach the top? Although Qin had mentally prepared himself the moment he took out his flying sword to climb the mountain, he still couldn't bear it. The sea of lightning on the Black Mountain was much stronger than he had imagined. Chapter 1870. At this moment, Qin wanted to escape from Black Mountain immediately, but he realized that it was easier to get in than to get out. There was a trapping formation hidden in the Black Mountain, and it was a very high-level trapping formation. Qin didn't notice it when he came in, but when he wanted to get out, he was blocked by an invisible barrier. His escape route was completely blocked, so Qin had to force himself to rush to the top of the mountain. Although he was standing on a flying sword, his speed was even slower than a tortoise climbing a mountain. Every time he moved half a meter, he would feel the pressure on his head double. Qin had already circulated his inner qi to protect his body. His inner qi was extremely strong, but he couldn't withstand the aftershocks of the lightning. He didn't know when, but the creation scripture automatically activated, and Qianfen's body was surrounded by blue lightning. It was the fourth stage of the Vajra exercise, Hallowed Thunder Body. The Vajra exercise had a total of 9 stages, and Qianfen had broken through to the fourth stage of the Hallowed Thunder Body. The defense of this stage was invincible in the Sage King realm, and it could withstand the fierce attacks of Buddha-like cultivators. But in this fierce sea of lightning, it was useless. Right now, Qianfeng's only life-saving method was to continuously guide the black lightning to the lightning-storing formation at the foot of the mountain. However, he quickly became depressed. The 200 or so level 5 lightning-storing formations at the foot of the mountain were unknowingly full. Crackle! More black lightning as thick as a person's waist exploded from the top of the mountain. Qianfen immediately felt the aura of death. Without thinking, he quickly threw out dozens of formation flags, and then he heard a loud explosion from the foot of the mountain. When he looked up, he felt despair. A few of the thunder storage formations could not withstand the power of the lightning and exploded, causing the surrounding thunder storage formations to explode one after another. More than 200 formations were destroyed. The scene was like the end of the world. Qianfen felt the black mountain shake violently. Rocks rolled down from the top of the mountain, and a few large rocks hit him, causing him to vomit blood. "Master, hide in the astral space." Little Pig shouted anxiously. Qianfen also realized that he was in a desperate situation. Now that the thunder storage formation had been destroyed, the next lightning would strike him. With his current realm, it was impossible for him to withstand the attack of the black lightning. But Qianfen didn't want to enter the astral space. If he did, he would be completely trapped in the astral space. Even if there were 2 spirit veins and many spirit herbs in the astral space to help him break through, it would be useless if he didn't have the opportunity to break through. Rumble. Just as he hesitated for a moment, a thunderous roar came from above his head. 3 black ring-shaped lightning bolts flew over like black dragons and exploded on his body. This was the first time Qianfeng had been struck by lightning from the Black Mountain. Previously, he had only felt the residual power of the lightning. In an instant, his clothes were torn, his skin was charred, and smoke rose from his body. He looked like a person who had been roasted. This was only the external situation. The 3 bolts of lightning had caused even more serious damage to his body. He began to vomit blood, and his inner qi was instantly thrown into chaos. It was like a crazy beast rampaging in his body. The blue light on Qianfen's body changed. It turned into an illusory doppelganger that soared into the sky. However, the defense of the doppelganger wasn't very strong. In other words, it wasn't strong enough against the ferocious black lightning. In an instant, it was destroyed by the lightning. Qianfen realized that his Vajra esoteric arts had broken through again. It had reached the 5th level of True Essence Doppelganger. When the Vajra esoteric arts was activated, a doppelganger would be created to block the attack. The doppelganger's defense was actually very strong. It was invincible in the Buddha aura realm. It could even block the fierce attack of a venerable true spirit for a moment. However, Qianfen didn't feel happy because of the Vajra esoteric arts breakthrough. He knew that the true essence doppelganger's level was still too low. It couldn't block the black lightning's attack at all. He watched as 3 more black lightning bolts fell from above. At this moment, he felt as if he could see death approaching. Little Pig squealed anxiously. Qianfen didn't plan to enter the astral world. He knew that once he entered, he wouldn't be able to come out for 8 to 10 years. By the time he came out, the Divine Supreme Continent would be in chaos. The Spirit Immortal Kingdom and Emperor Qin would probably be long gone. Rumble. As these thoughts flashed through his mind, the black lightning fell. Qianfen felt a sharp pain in his head. Even his sea of consciousness was severely injured. His consciousness was fading away quickly. The golden flying sword under his feet fell to the side of the mountain and lost its golden brilliance. Qin Fen floated in the air as his body was continuously attacked by the lightning. It looked like a god who had violated the heavenly rules and was being punished by the heavenly lightning. After his consciousness disappeared, Qin Fen's bodily functions also started to disappear. His breathing and heart stopped, but only the Creation Chapter's Heart Sutra continued to circulate. Moreover, the circulation speed became faster and faster. In his dantian, there was a ball of air flowing along with it, forming a spinning cyclone. The cyclone actually started to absorb the lightning in his body and convert the lightning source into spirit qi to devour. Time flew. After an unknown amount of time, Qin Fen's body was burnt to a crisp. However, his dantian felt like it was expanding. The feeling grew stronger and stronger. In the end, there was a loud bang as if something inside his body had exploded. However, it was this huge movement within his body that shook Qin Feng awake. He immediately checked his body's condition and was pleasantly surprised to find that he had inexplicably broken through to the 8 changes of Buddha's aura. However, this joy did not last for long. He immediately frowned and looked towards the void. There was another purple lightning ring in the dense thunderclouds. At this moment, Qin Fen wanted to cry but had no tears. He couldn't even withstand the lightning from the Black Mountain. In the end, the 9 changes true lightning triggered by his breakthrough came again. "Master, something's wrong." Little Pig suddenly cried out. Qin Fen was prepared to die, but after waiting for a while, he realized that there was no lightning falling. He looked into the sky again and was immediately stunned by the scene in front of him. Lightning crisscrossed in the sky and a loud bang sounded. The lightning tribulation he triggered was fighting with the lightning from the Black Mountain. What's going on? Qin Fen really didn't understand. Little Pig thought for a moment and shouted excitedly, "Master! The Divine Continent has 9 great lightning tribulations. Rumor has it that these 9 great lightning tribulations are enemies. As long as 2 of them meet, they will fight each other." Qin Fen's eyes widened. He looked at the dark sea of lightning in the void and said, "You mean, the lightning on the Black Mountain is also one of the 9 great lightning tribulations?" "Most likely, but I don't know what kind of lightning tribulation this is," Little Pig said. Qin Fen didn't know whether he should be happy or depressed at this moment. Other cultivators would never encounter a lightning tribulation in their entire lives. He had only been in the Divine Continent for 2 years and he had already encountered 2. While he was complaining in his heart, Little Pig hurriedly shouted, "Master, now is the best time to go up the mountain." Qin Fen woke up with a start and looked at the sky. At this moment, the 2 types of lightning were fighting fiercely, so no lightning came to attack him. Qin Fen even felt the pressure on his body lessen a lot. With a slight thought, the shining flying sword turned into a golden light and shot towards him, immediately carrying him towards the top of the mountain. His speed was still very slow, but it was much faster than the speed at which the tortoise climbed the mountain. When Qin Fen flew 3/4 of the way up the mountain, he once again felt an unprecedented pressure. He looked up and found that the 9 changes true lightning seemed to have stopped. This was the first time he hoped that the lightning tribulation triggered by his breakthrough would strike a few more times. However, reality didn't care about Qin Fen's feelings. Every time the 9 changes true lightning was triggered, it would trigger the 9/9 lightning tribulation. At this moment, the last 3 lightning bolts struck down and were about to be completely devoured by the black lightning. Qin Fen didn't know what kind of lightning tribulation this black lightning was. If it was also one of the Divine Continent's 9 great killing lightning tribulations, why was its power more ferocious than the 9 changes true lightning? However, Qin Fen quickly realized that it wasn't the black lightning that was more ferocious. It was the source of the black lightning that seemed to be continuously releasing lightning bolts, while the 9 changes true lightning only had 9 waves. After flying for a while, Qianfen was only a dozen meters away from the mountain peak. Normally, he could cross this distance in the blink of an eye, but now that the mountain peak was within his reach, Qianfen felt that there was an insurmountable gap in front of him. When despair rose again, many thoughts suddenly appeared in Qianfen's mind. The first thing he thought of was the heavenly thunder tactic, and he had a new understanding of this cultivation method. Qianfen quickly calmed himself down as if he was outside the sea of lightning. He grabbed the Zhen-Yi sword and stabbed the void above his head. Heavenly thunder tactic, first form, lightning attraction. Rumble. The sword pierced through the sky and attracted a new lightning bolt. However, the lightning bolt he attracted was too weak. It didn't even leave a trace in the black lightning and the 9 changes true lightning before it was devoured. Qianfen didn't care and stabbed the sword again. Heavenly thunder tactic, second form, lightning transformation. The lightning bolt attracted by this sword turned into a blue lightning dragon that soared into the sky. Although its power was much stronger than the first strike, it was still devoured by the black lightning in an instant. Third form, myriad lightning greeting. Several lightning bolts fell. Judging by their aura alone, they seemed to be comparable to the remaining 9 changes true lightning. However, the nature of the lightning they attracted was not as good as the lightning tribulation, and it disappeared in the sea of lightning once again. Qianfen didn't stop. The reason he used the first 3 forms of the heavenly thunder tactic was because he wanted to break through to the 4th form. Countless fragments of white light formed in his mind gradually fused together. It was a magical feeling, as if he didn't need to think too much about it to understand the essence of something. Heavenly thunder tactic, 4th form. Lightning shield. After a momentary pause, Qianfen suddenly roared. When he used the 4th form, he was a little shocked. He always thought that the heavenly thunder tactic focused on offense. He didn't expect the 4th form to be a defensive move. No wonder he was stuck at the 3rd form, myriad lightning greeting. It turned out that there was a deviation in his thinking. Qianfen understood why he suddenly had an epiphany. It was because the current situation had given him an opportunity. Coupled with the help of the creation of heaven and earth skill, everything became natural. At this moment, a layer of lightning shield appeared around him. The layers of the shield overlapped each other, as if the lightning had formed a solid wall. Qianfen's mind moved slightly, and a golden light appeared under his feet. At the same time, he activated the creation chapter mantra at full force and rushed toward the mountain peak without a care for anything else. Chapter 1871. The thunder shield was much stronger than Qianfen had imagined. He suddenly felt the pressure around him decrease. A golden light appeared under his feet, and he actually broke through the distance of more than 10 meters. When his feet landed, Qianfen found a sense of security, but he soon became nervous again. He found that the thunder shield had disappeared. It must have been broken when he broke through. This was the peak of Black Mountain, where the source of the black thunder was released. If a few bolts of black thunder fell now, Qianfen believed he would definitely die. However, what he worried about did not happen. When he looked up at the sky, he was immediately stunned by the scene in front of him. The sky was filled with black thunder, and the 9 changes true thunder caused by his breakthrough had been completely devoured. However, the black thunder arcs did not fall on the peak, but only exploded around the peak. This discovery made Qianfen very happy. He carefully walked around the peak, making sure that the less than 100 square meters of empty space on the peak would not be attacked by the thunder. However, he was soon disappointed. There was nothing on the peak, and there was no treasure like the spirit-seeking bug said. "Little pig, that bug is killing me," Qianfen complained. The spirit-seeking bug cried excitedly in the system, and Little Pig immediately translated, "Master." The spirit-seeking bug said that the treasure is on the mountain. Let it out, and it will help you find it. Qin Fen moved his mind slightly, and a little bug with a blue glow appeared in the air. As soon as it came out of the system, the spirit-seeking bug immediately flew in one direction and landed in the center of the peak. When he walked past this place earlier, Qin Fen did not discover anything out of the ordinary. However, when the spirit-seeking insect purposefully came here, he noticed the two strange patterns on the ground. When he saw the two patterns, he immediately thought of the two spirit turtle shells on him. Qin Fen quickly took out the turtle shells and found that the two turtle shells were perfectly placed in the grooves. Suddenly, the grooves shot out two beams of white light, and there was a strange wave of energy. So this mountain is the mountain of life. Then the array gate in front of me is the gate of life. Qin Fen's eyes were filled with shock. When he came in, he heard from Hao Yule that the treasure that the Xinkuan sect was looking for was the key to open the gate of life. Hao Yule also said that the gate of life was located on the mountain of life. Now that the two turtle tokens had opened a formation, it was obvious that this formation was the gate of life and this black lightning mountain was the mountain of life. The reason why Qin Feng entered the 13th palace was to find an opportunity to break through. Although he didn't know what would be inside the door of life, it must be a place of treasure for the Xinkuan sect and Hong Fei to value it so much. Just as he was guessing, the array formation was fully activated, and a door of light appeared in the void in front of him. The array door was faintly discernible, as though it was connected to the mountain of life and another world. Even though Qin Feng had just become a level 5 spirit array master, he couldn't see through the array in front of him. However, he could vaguely sense that the array in front of him was stronger than the level 8 disorienting array. It was at least a level 9 pinnacle array. The moment the formation door appeared, it was as if it had a magical power. Qin Feng walked step by step towards the formation door. When he was 5 or 6 meters away from the formation door, he was sucked in by a powerful suction force. He felt a sharp pain in his head, and when he opened his eyes again, he found that his surroundings had changed drastically. He was no longer on the mountain of life, and there were no dark clouds or crisscrossing lightning nets. In front of him was a boundless chaotic world. The thick fog made it difficult to see what was real and what was real. However, there was a towering tree in the fog. There was no fog within 100 meters of the tree, and it formed a sharp contrast with other places. There were 4 springs under the tree, and the spring water was crystal clear. It made people want to rush over and drink a few mouthfuls of water. That was exactly what Qin Feng did. When he saw the spring water, it was as if he had walked in the desert for 3 days and 3 nights. He rushed to the edge of the spring like a madman. When he saw the spring water from a close distance, his heart was filled with raging waves. How was this spring water? These were 4 spirit marrow ponds. Qin Feng had never seen a spiritual quintessence pond since he came to the Divine Continent. He had found a spiritual spring pond in the Devil Beast Mountain outside Hero City, and it was also because of that spiritual spring pond that he met his father, Gu Qin. However, a spiritual spring pond was nothing compared to a spiritual quintessence pond. The concentration of spiritual energy in a spiritual quintessence pond was equivalent to 10 spiritual spring ponds. Moreover, spiritual quintessence ponds had different grades. Although it was Qin Feng's first time seeing a spiritual quintessence pond, he could tell from the condensed spiritual crystals in the 4 spiritual quintessence ponds that they were definitely high-grade spiritual quintessence ponds. Speaking of spiritual crystals, Qin Feng first thought of the 8 spiritual beads he found on the 5 Elements Mountain in the North Sand Continent. In fact, those 8 spiritual beads were spiritual crystals. Not long ago, when he found the green crane blade in the Starry Weapon Workshop, the waiter had asked for 500 million high-grade spiritual stones and 10 spiritual crystals. From this, it could be seen that spiritual crystals were extremely rare treasures in the divine continent. At this time, the 4 spiritual quintessence ponds were filled with spiritual crystals. There were at least 1,000 of them in total. The spiritual energy contained in these spiritual crystals was equivalent to the spiritual energy of 1 billion high-grade spiritual stones. If they were all used for cultivation, the effects would be unimaginable. The 1,000 spiritual crystals were secondary. The real treasures were the 4 spiritual quintessence ponds. Although each spiritual quintessence pond was only the size of an ordinary swimming pool, the spiritual energy contained in each spiritual quintessence pond was unpredictable. After quickly calming himself down, Qin Feng took a look around. He found that there was nothing else in this small secret territory except for the 4 spiritual quintessence ponds and a towering tree. Master! This seems to be an alternate space, Little Pig suddenly said. Qin Feng's expression changed. He knew what the alternate space Little Pig was talking about. The astral world space he owned was an alternate space. It did not belong to the divine continent at all. This reminded him of his exploration on the God-Fallen Island. In the end, he entered the God-Fallen Island's secret territory. That secret territory was also an alternate space. According to Qin Feng's speculation, that space was specially placed on the God-Fallen Island by an almighty to grow. There was a mysterious herb garden in that space, and the devouring black fog would appear from time to time. According to Qin Feng's speculation, after the black fog devoured the cultivators that entered it, it would release their true essence and spiritual energy into the space. The spiritual energy could expand the space and grow the high-grade spiritual herbs in the mysterious herb garden. However, Qin Feng had already taken away all the spirit herbs in the herb garden. He had ruined the Almighty's plan. Back then, Qin Feng didn't understand what the devouring black fog was. Now that he had unlocked the system's spirit-insect interface, he suspected that the black fog that filled the sky was formed by countless devouring spirits. Qin Feng put aside his messy thoughts. Now was not the time to think about the God-Fallen Island's secret territory, nor was it the time to speculate about the secret territory. What he needed to do now was to use the 4 spiritual quintessence ponds to break through. Also, the towering tree. Qin Feng felt that it was a treasure of the highest quality that could only be found by chance. Mobile users, please browse and enjoy a better reading experience. First, set a small goal. For example, remember in 1 second, Booksellers Mobile. Chapter 1872. Qin Feng tossed aside his messy thoughts and jumped into a spirit marrow pond. Immediately, dense spirit qi surged into Qin Feng's body, filling up his empty dantian after breaking through to the 8 changes of Buddha aura. The creation chapter activated automatically, doubling the speed at which Qin Feng absorbed spirit qi. However, he wasn't in a hurry to cultivate and break through. When he climbed the life mountain, he had been struck by the destructive lightning and suffered some internal injuries. Even his divine sense had been severely damaged, so he needed to recuperate first. If an ordinary cultivator's divine sense was severely damaged, it was equivalent to being sentenced to death. However, Qin Feng had refined the mind-cleansing pill, so an injury to his divine sense was nothing to him. At the same time, Qin Feng had refined the spirit-cleansing pill with Yu Wanqiu's 100 Immortals flower not long ago. He planned to clean up the pill toxins in his body so that his breakthrough would be smoother. A dozen jade bottles were placed in front of him. Qin Feng opened them one by one and poured the pills inside into his mouth. Each of these pills was extremely precious. Even the mind-cleansing pill couldn't be sold in the South Flat Continent. However, he ate them as easily as eating candy. He didn't even frown or feel the pinch. Fortunately, no one could see Qin Feng eating the pills. Otherwise, their eyes would have popped out of their sockets. When the various pills entered his mouth, they began to display their miraculous effects. After 15 minutes, Qin Fen's external injuries began to heal. After 15 minutes, the chaotic inner qi in his body calmed down, and his internal injuries were mostly healed. 4 hours later, Qin Fen's damaged divine sense gradually recovered. Half a day had passed, and his body was covered in a black, mud-like filth. It was the pill toxins forced out of his body after eating the spirit cleansing pill. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Qin Fen's body had been completely absorbed, and his injuries were basically healed. More and more pill toxins were seeping out of his skin. The first batch of pill toxins had already fallen into the spirit marrow pond. After adjusting his body's condition, Qin Fen prepared to break through. He was pleasantly surprised to find that in these 3 days, his empty dantian had been filled up by just relying on the creation chapter's cultivation chapter. There were even signs of breaking through to the 9 changes of Buddha aura. Qin Feng immediately took out the 49 grade 5 thunder storing arrays from his star ring and set them up around the spirit quintessence pond. He then took out the 2 bottles of supreme spiritual pills that Long Qianjun had given him and swallowed 2 of them. The pill melted in Qin Feng's mouth, and 2 majestic waves of spiritual qi surged through his body. When the spiritual qi released by the pill and the spiritual qi in the spirit pith pond fused, it formed a spiritual qi whirlpool. The whirlpool produced a subtle explosion, and the sound of the explosion became louder and louder. It was as if his body was going to explode. Qin Feng suddenly became anxious and regretted eating 2 divine spirit pills at once. These pills were dozens of times more powerful than other pills that could help a peak Buddha light cultivator reach the spirit detecting realm. They were pills that could definitely help a cultivator reach the true spirit realm. However, it was too late to say all this now. He immediately sped up the creation chapter. As the Heart Sutra sped up, the speed at which Qin Feng's body absorbed spirit qi also sped up. An hour later, a loud sound came from his body. The suppressed dantian was suddenly released. He had actually broken through just like that. Rumble. When Qin Feng realized that he might have broken through, dense thunderclouds appeared above his head, proving that he had really stepped into the 9 changes Buddha light. With the help of the 49 lightning storage arrays, the lightning tribulation this time was relatively easy. After all the lightning fell, only 32 lightning storage arrays were filled. Qin Feng planned to stop first and put the thunder source in the lightning storage arrays into the energy tank before continuing to break through. However, before he could completely absorb the effects of the pill, the spiritual qi in the spirit pith pond surged even more violently. Bang! Just as he stepped into the 9 changes Buddha light, another muffled sound came from his body. The lightning tribulation of the true spirit realm had actually come. Qin Feng couldn't help but feel a bit nervous. When he broke through to the Buddha light realm, the lightning tribulation was already comparable to the lightning tribulation ordinary cultivators would face when they reached the void god realm. Now that he had stepped into the true spirit realm, who knew how terrifying the 9 changes true thunder would be? Just a moment later, the first wave of 3 bolts of lightning descended. Each bolt of lightning was as thick as a person's waist. Without thinking, Qin Feng immediately used the 4th form of the heavenly thunder method, lightning barrier. At the same time, he circulated the true essence he had just formed in his body to resist. Rumble. 3 bolts of lightning exploded on his body at the same time. He didn't use the lightning storage arrays to store the lightning bolts. Firstly, he wanted to feel how fierce the lightning tribulation was when he broke through to the true spirit realm. Secondly, the lightning tribulation at the beginning was weaker, so Qin Feng planned to use the remaining lightning storage arrays to deal with the lightning tribulation at the end. However, when the lightning exploded, the lightning barrier on Qin Feng's body was instantly broken. The true essence barrier around his body shook violently, but it didn't shatter. At this moment, Qin Feng was both surprised and happy. He realized that the lightning tribulation of the true spirit realm didn't become stronger. It was no different from the lightning tribulation of the Buddha light realm. Master. The Shirkill lightning tribulation doesn't become more and more fierce. Instead, it's the most destructive when it first appears. After Master gets through the early stages of the lightning tribulation, he will gradually adapt to the power of the lightning tribulation. Breaking through to the next realm will become easier. Little Pig's voice sounded. Qin Feng suddenly understood. His understanding of the Shirkill lightning tribulation was wrong from the start. He thought that this lightning tribulation would become stronger as the cultivator's cultivation increased. The Shirkill lightning tribulation was actually the first time it appeared. This was because most cultivators would die the first time the Shirkill lightning tribulation appeared. That was why it was called the Shirkill lightning tribulation. After understanding the situation, Qin Feng was enlightened. The lightning tribulation that gave him a headache was resolved. When the next few bolts of lightning descended, he didn't think twice and guided them into the lightning storage array. Half an hour later, the thunderclouds in the sky dissipated. When Qin Feng opened his eyes again, he felt a huge change in his body. The most obvious change was that his inner qi had condensed into true essence and a sparkling spirit pearl had formed in his dantian. I've finally stepped into the true spirit realm. Qin Feng roared towards the sky. He was only 26 years old, but he had already stepped into the true spirit realm. If he was still in the North Sand continent, he would definitely be the youngest true spirit realm expert. However, in the South Flat continent, Qin Feng couldn't jump to conclusions. He quickly suppressed his excitement. There were many Nihility God realm and even body condensation realm experts among his enemies. He knew that the true spirit realm was just the beginning of his cultivation. He had a strong desire to become stronger. After completely absorbing the medicinal effects of the 2 supreme spirit pills, Qin Feng immediately took out 3 spirit pills and swallowed them. These were level 4 rank 7 king pills and could increase the chances of a true spirit realm cultivator breaking through. After stepping into the true spirit realm, Qin Feng started to worry about his pill refining skills. He was still at the level of a level 4 rank 7 pill king and it was hard for him to improve. Later stage true spirit realm cultivators needed pills that were at the level of level 5 rank 7 king pills. He had to find time to improve his pill refining skills. Now wasn't the time to think about improving his pill refining skills. When the 3 spirit pills entered his mouth, the surging spiritual qi condensed into a whirlpool and filled Qin Feng's meridians and bones. The spirit pearl in his dantian had just condensed and was in an extremely empty state. When the spiritual qi whirlpool surged through his dantian, it was all absorbed. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, cultivation had no time. On the morning of the 5th day, Qin Feng suddenly let out a low roar and a muffled sound came from his dantian. The extreme pressure in his body was released and at that moment, he felt refreshed. The lightning calamity appeared again and most of it was absorbed by the lightning storage array while a small portion was directly blocked by Qin Feng. He realized that ever since he broke through to the true spirit realm and his inner qi had turned into true essence, his body's defense had increased by more than 10 times. Even if the lightning struck his body, it wouldn't cause him as much damage as before. True Spirit Realm 1, True Spirit Realm 2, True Spirit Realm 3. After he completely absorbed the 3 spirit transformation pills, Qin Feng broke through to the 4th level of the True Spirit Realm. There were still signs of breaking through in his body, but he forcefully stopped cultivating. The rapid breakthroughs had shaken his foundation, so Qin Feng decided to first stabilize his current strength before breaking through. In a short 10 days, Qin Feng had stepped into the True Spirit Realm 4 from the Buddha Light 7 changes. This speed was like sitting on a rocket, shocking even himself. If this was told to other cultivators, they wouldn't believe it even if they were beaten to death. Even the #1 genius cultivator in the South Flat continent couldn't compare to Qin Feng. As for whether or not the Eastfield continent had such a godly person, it was hard to say. Qin Feng stood up from the spirit marrow pond and realized that the spirit marrow in the pond had been sucked dry. Even the few hundred spirit crystals had turned into dust and fell to the bottom of the pond. He suddenly realized why he had broken through so quickly. It wasn't just because of the divine pills and spirit transformation pills, but more importantly, the spirit marrow pond. After realizing how helpful the spirit marrow was to cultivation, Qin Feng's eyes immediately lit up as he looked at the other 3 spirit marrow ponds. Luckily, there was no movement from the other 3 spirit marrow ponds. Qin Feng couldn't help but wonder if he would be able to step into the Nihility God realm after absorbing the remaining spirit marrow ponds. Although he had a strong urge to jump into the second spirit marrow pond and continue breaking through, he eventually gave up on this idea. Cultivation focused more on stable breakthroughs. That was a realm that was honed step by step. If he just kept breaking through and leveling up, even if Qin Feng stepped into the Nihility God realm, even a late-stage true spirit realm cultivator would have stronger qi than him. Qin Feng casually set up 3 spirit guiding formations and kept the 3 spirit marrow ponds into the astral space. When the spirit marrow ponds entered the astral space, the spirit qi in the space instantly rose to another level. The spirit herbs in the herb garden grew at a visible speed. There were even dozens of level 4 and 5 spirit herbs that had bloomed and bore fruit. After collecting the spirit quintessence pool, Qin Feng circled the area carefully, afraid that he would miss any other treasures. However, he discovered that there were no other items in this little mystery realm. The only thing that was left was the towering tree. Qin Feng walked around the tree and couldn't understand what kind of tree it was. However, he felt an inexplicable change in his state of mind. The joy and excitement from breaking through quickly disappeared and his heart became as still as water. Chapter 1873. Tree of Life. What's that? It was Qin Feng's first time hearing about it. Follow. Dream? La Little Pig explained, rumor has it that there are 10 great immortal herbs on the divine supreme continent, and the Tree of Life is one of them. Qin Feng was stunned. He looked at the towering tree again. Qin Feng had seen many spiritual herbs in his 2 years in the divine supreme continent. Among them were the level 7 spiritual herbs, the fire spirit lotus, the fragrant fragrance flower, and the level 7 spiritual herb, the 100 immortal flower. However, he had never seen a level 8 or 9 spiritual herb, let alone an immortal herb. Qin Feng knew that immortal herbs were higher than spiritual herbs. They were even rarer than level 9 spiritual herbs. There are only 10 immortal herbs on the divine supreme continent. Qin Feng quickly realized the important information in Little Pig's words. Master, the divine supreme continent is actually just a cultivation continent. The highest level spiritual herbs are level 9 spiritual herbs, and the highest level beasts are level 9 spiritual beasts. As for immortal herbs, immortal beasts, immortal weapons, and immortal formations, they shouldn't exist, Little Pig said. Qin Feng immediately realized that there must be a cultivation continent, but he didn't care about those higher-level realms. His plan was to find his family and friends on the divine supreme continent and bring them back to China. However, he was still curious. If the divine supreme continent is a cultivation continent, then how did the 10 great immortal herbs appear? I'm not sure about that. Qin Feng stopped thinking about it when he saw that Little Pig didn't know either. He learned that the Tree of Life was one of the 10 great immortal herbs on the divine supreme continent, so he immediately put it in his astral world. The Tree of Life was planted at the intersection of 2 spirit veins. After it was planted, Qin Feng realized that the 2 spirit veins flowed faster and the spiritual energy they emitted became denser. The spirit herbs in the herb garden seemed to have gained intelligence, and they all grew towards the direction of the tree of life. A layer of bright moonlight shrouded the tree of life, and the circle of light slowly expanded, finally covering a small half of the astral world. Very quickly, Qin Feng discovered that the area covered by the bright circle of light seemed to be filled with the smell of life. This kind of aura was very special. When he stood within the circle of light, his thoughts became abnormally clear, and his comprehension ability reached a whole new level. Master, this is the powerful effect of the tree of life. It can purify the spirit root and improve a cultivator's comprehension ability, Little Pig explained. Qin Feng finally understood why he was able to step into the fourth level of the true spirit realm from the 7 transformations of Buddha's light in a short 10 days. This was definitely not because of the medicinal pills and the spirit marrow pond. The biggest reason was actually the powerful abilities of the tree of life. No amount of spirit qi could satisfy the bottleneck of a breakthrough. It required a cultivator's mind to reach a new realm. Qin Feng had been cultivating under the tree of life at that time, and his state of mind and comprehension had been raised to an unprecedented level. When Qin Feng stood at the peak of the life mountain again, his cultivation had completely stabilized at the peak of the fourth true spirit realm. What he wanted to do the most right now was to find someone to fight with and feel the changes in his breakthrough. As soon as he came out of the secret realm, Qin Feng discovered many changes. The array door that looked like a fog and light had disappeared. Even the 2 grooves on the ground had disappeared. He immediately realized that the array door was supported by the spirit marrow pond. Now that he had taken away the spirit marrow pond and the tree of life in the secret realm, the array was also closed. The thunder above his head was still roaring and black lightning crisscrossed. When Qin Feng saw this seemingly endless source of lightning, he immediately thought of another terrifying matter. It was definitely not a coincidence that this secret realm appeared on the Life Mountain. Some cultivator must have purposely placed the secret realm here. Their goal was very obvious. They wanted to use the energy of the lightning source to nurture the tree of life. Qin Feng even suspected that the 4 spirit marrow ponds were transformed from the energy of the lightning source. Qin Feng couldn't imagine how many years it took for the 4 spirit marrow ponds to transform into the lightning source. However, he knew that he had ruined another Almighty's plan. Not only did he steal the spirit marrow pond, he even stole one of the 10 great immortal herbs, the tree of life. If that Almighty found out, he would definitely be furious. To be able to place a secret realm on the Life Mountain, it was hard for Qin Feng to imagine how powerful that Almighty must be. The reason he was able to climb the mountain alive was not only because he had the strength and opportunity, but also because he triggered the breakthrough lightning tribulation and the black lightning on the Life Mountain. Otherwise, he would have died here long ago. But how many cultivators on the divine continent could trigger a fatal lightning tribulation? Could it be that the Almighty who set up the small secret realm also triggered a fatal lightning tribulation? Or could it be that he had already stepped into the true God realm or even higher and entered the Life Mountain as if he was walking on flat ground? These thoughts flashed through Qin Feng's mind. He didn't want to speculate too deeply because he felt that the other party would not be able to find him. These things would probably end up unresolved. Since he had broken through to the true spirit realm 4, it was much easier to descend the mountain than to climb it. Although he was still struck by dozens of black lightning bolts, Qin Feng relied on the lightning shield and true essence protection to withstand the fierce black lightning bolts. However, when he broke through the shielding formation on the Life Mountain, his vision suddenly darkened and he felt a stinging pain in his sea of consciousness. It seemed that he had entered a teleportation formation. When Qin Feng opened his eyes again, the surrounding scenery had changed drastically. He was now sure that he had been sent to an unfamiliar place by the teleportation formation. Yu Zhong, I will ask you one last time. Are you going to hand over Yuanqiu or not? As soon as Qin Feng landed, a roar came from the plains hundreds of meters away. Two groups of people had gathered there and seemed to be arguing about something. The two groups of people were not insignificant. The group led by the little old man was a disciple of the five-star sect, Yuan-Tsang, while the other group wore the uniform of the five-star sect, the Sky Lake sect. Judging from the number of people on both sides, the Sky Lake sect had 12 people, which was a bit more than the 8 people on Yuan-Tsang's side. However, the Sky Lake sect's eldest senior brother, Yu Zhong, had a grave expression on his face. He was only at the peak of the true spirit realm, while the other party's little elder, Terminator, had already stepped into the empty god realm. Elder Terminator, junior sister Wancho, is a genius female disciple of the Sky Lake sect. How can we just give her to you? I don't know how junior sister offended you. I will apologize on her behalf, Yu Zhong said. Terminator's old face turned cold as he roared, "Humph. That bitch Yu Wancho killed my junior brother, Ji Shi. If you don't hand her over to me today, don't blame me for being impolite." Yu Zhong frowned and glared at Yu Wancho with a reproachful look. Yu Wancho immediately explained, "Senior brother Zhong, 10 days ago, I found 100 Immortals flower in the palace on the 0th floor. Unexpectedly, Ji Shi wanted to snatch it, so I fought with him. Thanks to the help of a young cultivator, we killed Ji Shi together. Otherwise, I don't know what would have happened to me." Everything was explained. It was clear that Ji Shi was in the wrong first and deserved to die. However, this was the divine supreme continent. There was no such thing as reason. The only reason was one's own fist. Chapter 1874. Nirvana was furious after hearing Yu Wancho's words. He wasn't sure if Ji Shi was killed by Yu Wancho. After all, Ji Shi was at the peak of True Spirit Realm 9 while Yu Wancho was only a True Spirit Realm 7 cultivator. How could she kill Ji Shi? Now that the truth was out, it was Yu Wancho who found a wild man to kill Ji Shi. Nirvana didn't care whether Ji Shi stole Yu Wancho's 100 immortal flowers or not because that couldn't be a reason. "You bitch, you dare to kill my Yuan-Tsang sect's young elder. I think you're tired of living." Nirvana had already sent out a palm and a huge palm print appeared in the void. The palm print came with a hurricane and the Sky Lake sect's early-stage true spirit disciples felt suffocated. Yu Zhong frowned the moment his opponent attacked. He realized how powerful Nirvana was. His opponent was an ultimate god who had stepped into the empty god realm. He was no match for him. Yu Zhong even thought of fleeing, but he knew that once he fled, the other disciples would suffer a calamity from the might of this palm strike. If it was light, they would be injured, and if it was heavy, they would lose their lives. In this way, he wouldn't be able to give the sect an explanation in the future. He had no choice but to meet it with a punch. When the huge fist print and palm print collided, there was an earth-shattering sound. Nirvana didn't move at all and sent out a clone to block the shockwave. Yu Zhong took a dozen steps back from the explosion and spat out a mouthful of blood every time he took a step back. With just one move, the outcome was decided. If Nirvana hadn't held back, Yu Zhong's life would have been in danger. "Yu Zhong, since you're also a cultivation genius who reached the peak of True Spirit Realm 9 before the age of 60, I'll spare your life today. Quickly take the others and leave. I only want Yu Wancho." Nirvana's expression was cold. Although he spoke righteously, he couldn't wait for Yu Zhong to take the others and leave. After all, Sky Lake sect was also a 5-star sect. If they really started a massacre today, Sky Lake sect would definitely not let it go. It would lead to a war between the two sects, which was something Nirvana didn't want to see. Yu Zhong was humiliated in front of everyone, and his heart was filled with rage. He blamed all his resentment on Yu Wancho. If it wasn't for this woman stirring up trouble, he wouldn't have ended up in this situation. In fact, Yu Zhong also hated Yu Wancho. He had expressed his love for Yuanqiu, but she had rejected him. Now that this woman had gotten into big trouble, Yu Zhong couldn't be bothered to care about her life or death. Elder Terminator, please calm down. Since Yuanqiu personally admitted to killing Ji Shi, I will hand her over to Elder Terminator to deal with. As soon as Yu Zhong said this, the disciples of the Sky Lake sect looked at him in disbelief. Yuanqiu, in particular, felt a chill in her heart. On the Divine Continent, a sect was like a family. Disciples of the same sect were like brothers and sisters. Yu Zhong was their senior brother, yet he said such irresponsible words. It made people sigh. Nirvana laughed. Ha! A wise man submits to circumstances. You should hurry up and leave. Yu Zhong pretended not to hear the disciples' discussion and shouted with a serious expression, everyone can see that I have already made a move, but I am not Elder Terminator's opponent. If everyone doesn't leave with me, you will all die here. I am doing this for your own good. With the situation in front of them, many disciples who were complaining shut their mouths and quietly stood behind Yu Zhong. There were still some disciples who were hesitant, but they heard Yuanqiu say, "Everyone, leave with Yu Zhong. I don't want to implicate you." With these words, the disciples who were hesitant because of their guilt also left with Yu Zhong. Soon, only Yuanqiu was left in the open space. She was facing 8 fierce-looking male cultivators. Suddenly, someone shouted, "Elder Terminator, Elder Ji Shi pursued this woman when he was alive, but he was rejected. Now, this woman actually dared to kill Elder Ji Shi. Why don't everyone take over her body? I believe Elder Ji Shi can rest in peace in heaven." This suggestion was immediately approved by everyone. That's right. I heard this bitch usually pretends to be pure, but she joined forces with a wild man to kill Elder Ji Shi. Let's make her flirtatious nature reveal itself today. After everyone takes over her body, we'll find her wild man and kill both of them. This group of people's thoughts were strange. Using this method to make Ji Shi rest in peace. Who knew if Ji Shi would be so angry that he would come back to life? Yuanqiu's beautiful eyes revealed a look of disgust. She didn't expect the normally upright and dignified cultivator Yuansang to be hiding such an ugly face. However, there was no one else around, so Yuanqiu knew she was done for. She still subconsciously looked around, and her expression suddenly changed. Her line of sight was fixed on a plain several hundred meters behind her. There was a figure standing there. Although she couldn't see his appearance clearly because he was too far away, Yuanqiu couldn't calm down after using her divine sense to scan his aura. "Little brother Qiao Feng, hurry and run!" Yuanqiu shouted. Her expression was even more anxious than when she was in a predicament. She was sure that the man standing nearby was Qin Feng, and she didn't know if she should be happy or sad to run into Qin Feng at this time. "Elder Jimia, that bitch's wild man is over there," a Yuansang sect disciple shouted. 2 early-stage True Spirit Realm cultivators immediately rushed over on their flying swords, deeply afraid that Qin Feng would escape. Before they could clearly see what was going on, a loud noise came from nearby. The 2 cultivators who had just flown away exploded in the air like fireworks. When everyone blinked again, they couldn't even see their figures anymore. However, there was a blood stain on the plain. Looking at it from several hundred meters away, it looked like flowers had bloomed all over the ground. A tall figure stepped on the bloodstain. His footsteps were steady and unhurried. It was as if he had just happened to walk there. "Who are you, brat? How dare you kill my Yuansang sect's disciple?" Ji Mie roared. He didn't immediately make a move because he faintly sensed a dangerous aura. When the figure got closer and closer, tears streamed down Yuanqiu's face like rain. She didn't know how Qin Fen had made it here, but when her fellow disciples had abandoned her, Qin Fen had unswervingly walked over. Just this action alone was enough to make Yu Wanqiu weep with gratitude. Sister Wanqiu, I'm here. You'll be fine. When he reached Yu Wanqiu's side, Qin Feng gently embraced her. He didn't have any other thoughts, but when he saw Yu Wanqiu crying helplessly, a ripple appeared in his heart. A faint fragrance wafted out of Yu Wanqiu's collar and floated into Qin Feng's nose. Their upper bodies were pressed together, and because Yu Wanqiu's body shook as she sobbed, some of her supple parts rubbed against Qin Feng's chest, making him feel something. Ah! Brother Qiao Feng, hurry up and leave. You are no match for them. After crying for a while, Yu Wanqiu suddenly came to her senses. She knew that Qin Feng's cultivation was only at the 7 changes Buddha aura, so how could he deal with Dreamy and the others? Qin Feng didn't explain. He planned to use his actions to explain everything. Moreover, he couldn't leave even if he wanted to. Yuan Sang's remaining 6 people had already surrounded the 2 of them. You want to run after killing Yuan Sang's disciple? Do you think I don't exist? After observing Qin Feng from a close distance, Ji Mia heaved a sigh of relief. This brat's cultivation was only at True Spirit Realm 4. In his eyes, he was just an ant. Yu Wanqiu realized that she and Qin Feng couldn't escape. At that moment, she had already forgotten to worry about what would happen to her next. Instead, she felt a strong sense of guilt. Qin Feng indifferently looked at the crowd. The highest cultivation was only at Void God Realm Level 1. As for the rest of the True Spirit Realm cultivators, he completely ignored them. He had just broken through from the Mountain of Life and wanted to find a few people to practice with. Now that a Void God Realm cultivator had jumped out to die, it was exactly what he wanted. Ji Shi is also from your Yuansang sect, right? As expected, the stench is the same. I don't think there's anyone good in your entire Yuansang sect. Qin Feng's words stunned everyone. No one expected him to dare to be so arrogant. Yu Wanqiu's beautiful eyes widened as she looked at Qin Feng in disbelief. However, Yu Wanqiu quickly came to a realization. Qin Feng probably knew that he was going to die, so he might as well talk before he died. You're just a True Spirit Realm 4 ant, yet you dare to speak so arrogantly. Do you believe that I won't kill you with one slash? A peak True Spirit Realm disciple shouted. Yu Wanqiu was shocked. Wasn't Qin Feng at Buddhist Light 7 changes? How did he suddenly become True Spirit Realm 4? She didn't dare to think that Qin Feng had used 10 days to break through from Buddhist Light 7 changes to True Spirit Realm 4. She thought that Qin Feng had hidden his cultivation the last time she saw him. However, True Spirit Realm 4 was just throwing his life away. Yu Wanqiu had already stepped into True Spirit Realm 7, but she didn't even have the thought of resisting. It looks like you're Yu Wanqiu's wild man. You two worked together to kill Ji Shi. Great Destruction waved his hand and stopped the disciple next to him who was about to make a move. Don't be in a rush to kill him. This kind of ant can be killed with a wave of my hand. Let's take Yu Wanqiu in front of him and let him know the consequences of offending Yuan Sang. Great Destruction's suggestion made everyone very excited. They all revealed playful expressions as they looked at Yu Wanqiu's body. Yu Wanqiu retreated behind Qin Feng in fear and covered her chest with her hands. She was still pure right now, but a shy thought appeared in her mind. She wanted to give her body to Qin Feng before she was defiled and then commit suicide. That way, she wouldn't have reincarnated as a woman in vain. Truly a group of people who don't know life from death. A cold voice rang out. The voice was still echoing in the air when a golden light flashed by. The 2 middle-stage True Spirit Realm disciples were suddenly stunned. They still had a wretched smile on their faces, but their eyes were filled with fear. It was a very strange sight. Ji Kong, Ji De, what's wrong? The late-stage True Spirit Realm disciple next to them noticed the abnormality. Just as he asked this, two loud explosions rang out and Ji Kong and Ji Do were sent flying. Gasp! This scene made the remaining four people suck in a cold breath. Even Great Destruction had a look of shock in his eyes. They didn't know how Ji Kong and Ji Do died. Those two disciples were standing less than 10 meters away from them, but they had mysteriously exploded. Mobile users, please browse and read for a better reading experience. First, set a small goal. For example, remember in 1 second, Booksellers Mobile. Chapter 1875. What's going on? Who killed Ji Kong and Ji Do? The first cultivator who noticed the two of them were dead exclaimed. The other two disciples stared at each other, not knowing what was going on. However, Nirvana calmed down and looked at Qin Feng with cold killing intent in his eyes. You dare attack in front of this old man? Yuan Song's 3 disciples that were still alive were dumbfounded. They didn't think that it was Qin Feng who had attacked. Wasn't this brat a True Spirit Realm 4? How could he instantly kill Ji Kong and Ji Do? One had to know that Ji Kong was in True Spirit Realm 5 and Ji Do was a True Spirit Realm 6 expert. Although it was hard to understand, they believed that Elder Nirvana would not be wrong. At the same time, they were a bit confused. According to Elder Nirvana's personality, he would have killed Qin Feng with one palm, so why hadn't he done anything yet? Swish! Qin Feng was too lazy to waste words with Nirvana. His answer was simple and violent. Another golden light flashed and Nirvana sensed it this time. Just as he gave a warning, a loud sound rang out. Uncle Ji, watch out! Bang! The disciple called Uncle Ji's body exploded and he didn't even understand what was going on before he died. This person was already in True Spirit Realm 8 and was a late True Spirit Realm expert, but he was still instantly killed by Qin Feng. With a wave of his hand, Qin Feng had killed 5 of Yuan Song's disciples and they were all True Spirit Realm experts. This shocked everyone, even Qin Feng himself. Back when he was still in the Buddha Light 7 changes, he could already kill early and middle True Spirit Realm cultivators. Now that he was in the middle True Spirit Realm, he found that killing late True Spirit Realm cultivators was like killing chickens. Looking over, 2 of the remaining 3 people were peak True Spirit Realm cultivators while Nirvana was at Nihility God Realm Level 1. Qin Feng couldn't help but feel slightly disappointed. He felt that this battle wasn't challenging at all. If there was another Nihility God Realm Level 2 or Level 3 cultivator, he might have felt some danger. Before he could attack again, the 2 peak True Spirit Realm cultivators came back to their senses and immediately attacked him. Both of them held long sabers, and with a wave of their hands, thousands of saber lights appeared in the air. Those saber lights were surging with power, as if they were about to condense into physical saber weapons, cutting the void into pieces. However, she saw that Qin Feng didn't dodge. He stood there like a fool. Seeing this, Yuancho hurriedly shouted to remind him, but it was already too late. The fierce saber energy fell and hit the true essence shield around Qin Feng's body, making a loud crackling sound. The 2 cultivators at the peak of the True Spirit Realm were stunned for a moment before revealing looks of disdain. Humph! Who do you think you are? You're nothing more than this. Even if you're able to surmount realms and kill Ji Kong's junior brothers, you'll definitely die at our hands. The strength of these 2 people far surpassed the 5 disciples that Qin Feng had killed before. When they saw that Qin Feng didn't even have a chance to dodge under their fierce attacks, the 2 of them were extremely arrogant. One of them swung his saber again, and a fierce saber chi surged out. However, there was a loud sound of wind breaking, and this attack actually missed. The smiles on the 2's faces froze, and their eyes were wide open. Qin Fen, who had been hit by the saber chi a second ago, was now nowhere to be seen. Yuanqiu didn't know where Qin Fen had gone. She only saw a flash of golden light, and Qin Fen had already disappeared. When she saw Qin Fen again, he had already flown behind the two cultivators at the peak of the true spirit realm and stabbed at them with a silver spear. Stab, stab, stab. Suddenly, thousands of silver spear lights rose in the air, containing an extremely violent aura. This was the first time Qin Fen had used his true essence to attack with full force after breaking through to True Spirit Realm 4. As for killing Ji Kong and the others, it was just a casual move. When the Dragon Shock Spear was completely unleashed, the silver light burst out and pierced through the void. At the same time, Ji Ji and Ji He's bodies were also pierced. The two of them were at the peak of the True Spirit Realm, and it was only a matter of time before they reached the Empty God Realm. However, even such powerful cultivators were killed in one move by Qin Fen's full force. The spear lights came too quickly, and they didn't even have time to dodge before they died. Their eyes revealed the same horrified and incredulous expressions as their junior brothers who had died earlier. The opponent was only a true spirit realm 4 cultivator. How could he unleash such a fierce attack? Ji Ji and Ji He began to suspect that even if Elder Terminator attacked, he might not be able to kill this person. They couldn't verify this guess, and their bodies had already exploded into flesh and blood, scattering all over the ground. The spacious plain suddenly fell into silence, and the air was filled with the strong smell of blood and a strange aura. Terminator was the only cultivator left from the Yuansang sect, but he still hadn't made a move. He even had the thought of leaving at that moment. Even if he attacked, he couldn't kill 7 disciples as easily as Qin Fen. Yuanqiu was stunned and couldn't come back to her senses for a long time. When she met Qin Fen was still at the Buddha Aura 7 changes. 10 days later, Qin Fen had already stepped into the True Spirit Realm 4. That wasn't all. Qin Fen actually killed Yuan Sang's disciples by himself, including a late True Spirit Realm and 2 True Spirit Realm experts. Qin Fen wasn't in a hurry to deal with Terminator. He was comprehending the power of the spear just now. Now that he had a clearer understanding of his own strength, he believed that with his current realm, he could kill an early Empty God Realm cultivator. If he returned to the North Sand region now, with his current strength, he could definitely stand among the top powerhouses, and even have the qualifications to fight against immortal venerables. However, he also knew that it wasn't safe to go back now. Even if he could really fight against East Black Su or Immeasurable Sea alone, there were still the Invincible Sect, the Soaring Dragon Chamber of Commerce, the Witchcraft Sect, and other 5-star sections. If the enemies joined forces, he would still suffer. As for Qin Fen being attacked by Ji Ji and Ji He, that was because he deliberately stood still. Not only did he want to feel his current attack power, but he also wanted to understand his own defense ability. When he used True Essence to protect his body, he could resist the fierce attack of a True Spirit Realm cultivator. If he used Thunder Shield to protect his body, he could probably resist the attack of an Empty God Realm expert. Kit Chow Fong, the 13 palaces only open once every 10 years, and it's only open for 3 months each time. I'm going to explore the higher level palaces now. Our grievances can be settled after we get out. Terminator, who had been silent for a long time, suddenly spoke. He was actually looking for a chance to slip away. At that moment, Yuanqiu was extremely shocked. Qin Fen, who was at True Spirit Realm 4, actually scared away a Virtual God Realm expert? It doesn't matter. Killing you will only take the time for half an incense stick to burn. It won't delay much. However, she heard that Qin Fen still had no intention of letting Terminator leave. Terminator was instantly furious. He admitted that he wanted to retreat, but he wasn't really afraid of Qin Fen. At the end of the day, Terminator was also at the Virtual God Realm. In the South Flat State, there was almost no true spirit realm cultivator that could kill a virtual god realm expert. Even if there was, it was very rare. Terminator just found it troublesome. He knew that he would definitely be able to kill Qin Fun in the end, but he would also be severely injured. Being injured in the 13 Palaces was a very serious matter. Not only would he miss the opportunity to explore, but he might also be killed by other cultivators. Terminator thought that if he took a step back, Qin Fun would definitely be happy. In the end, this brat chased him relentlessly, completely infuriating Terminator. Rumble. It was Terminator's palm strike. A huge palm print appeared in the air and covered half the sky. It was like a moving mountain that was falling on Qin Fun's head. Yu Wanqiu suddenly felt like she couldn't breathe. A feeling of death pressed down on her heart. She realized the difference between the virtual god realm and the true spirit realm. Those below the virtual god realm were all ants. It was said that after stepping into the virtual god realm, not only could one create a clone, but some genius cultivators could also comprehend the existence of the realm. Yu Wanqiu didn't know what the realm was. When she asked her master in the sect, her master always said that the realm could only be comprehended by oneself and others couldn't say much. However, she was very clear about one thing. If Terminator had already comprehended the realm, or even just touched the tip of the iceberg, then she and Qin Fun would definitely die today. Rumble. Just as Yu Wanqiu was letting her imagination run wild, Terminator's palm print landed and smashed into Qin Fun's body. The huge movement caused the ground to shake, and the ground under Qin Fun's feet cracked. The power of that palm was hard to estimate, but Yu Wanqiu knew that she definitely couldn't withstand it. So, when she saw Qin Fun get hit by the palm print, her heart almost jumped out of her throat. Little brother Qiao Feng, are you okay? Qin Fun didn't reply. A mouthful of blood surged up, but he forcefully swallowed it back into his body. There was a lightning barrier around his body, but the lightning barrier cracked under the attack. However, it didn't completely shatter. Qin Fun was able to dodge that palm, but he deliberately took it with his body. He could clearly feel the changes in his body. Back when he was still at the 7 changes of Buddhist light, if he took the fierce attack of a first-stage void god realm cultivator head-on, he would definitely be sent flying and spit out a few mouthfuls of blood. The aura in his body would instantly become chaotic, and if it was serious, he might even temporarily lose the ability to fight. However, after taking Terminator's palm, he only took a step back and stabilized his body. Although the blood in his body was surging, he had already forcefully suppressed it. Aside from that, Qin Fun didn't even have a superficial wound. Why, you're actually okay? Terminator's old eyes were wide open, and the uneasiness in his heart intensified. Qin Fun put on a new lightning barrier and took out a magic treasure at the same time. It was a palm-sized cauldron, but it instantly grew bigger and hovered above Qin Fun's head. The cauldron was green and glowed with green light. For lifelike green dragon patterns were carved on it. This was originally the magic treasure of the Beijing sect's great elder, Bai Kuei, and now it was in Qin Fun's hands. One man and one cauldron, one hand holding a silver spear. Qin Fun was prepared for battle. Previously, he only wanted to feel the strength of his body, which was why he was hit. Now, he wanted to feel the strength of the attack. Seeing this, Terminator's heart trembled. He was a powerful void god realm expert, but he was actually forced into such a state by a true spirit cultivator. Just as he was hesitating about whether to escape, the silver spear light came like rain. Terminator's expression changed instantly. He had already tried his best not to underestimate Qin Fun, but he realized that he had still underestimated this fellow. Rumble. There was a loud explosion. The spear light missed, but it blasted a huge pit in the empty ground. At the bottom of the pit laid a figure that seemed like light and mist. It was Terminator's clone. Chapter 1876. A true spirit cultivator's spear had injured a void god master's clone. If the South Flat State cultivators saw this, their eyes would pop out of their sockets. Nirvana was instantly enraged. He no longer had any thoughts of escaping and only wanted to fight to the death with Qin Feng. The most important thing for a void god master was not their panaceas but their clones. Once their clones were injured, it would be very difficult to recover, and it would seriously affect their future breakthroughs. "You reckless grandson, I'll tear you to pieces today." His roar echoed across the plain like a clap of thunder. Before Yuanqiu could remind Qin Fen to be careful, Nirvana's attack had already landed. This time, he slashed with a broad-backed broadsword. The body of the broadsword flickered with a cold light. Just looking at it made people shiver. When the broadsword light fell, countless cold lights instantly enlarged and enveloped Qin Fen's body. Qin Feng instantly frowned. He felt that the saber light had a binding effect, which made his movements slow down. Without much time to think, Qin Feng immediately stabbed out with his spear. The silver spear light filled the sky and collided with the saber energy in the air. Rumble. The two of them attacked with all their might, causing a huge commotion. Yuanqiu, who was standing hundreds of meters away, felt an extremely oppressive aura surging over, forcing her to take dozens of steps back. The spear light blocked a large portion of the saber light, and some of the saber energy was blocked by the green dragon cauldron's shadow. This defensive cauldron was a low-grade true spirit treasure. When it spun, it released a green cauldron shadow, which had a very powerful defensive effect. Qin Feng was not injured at all by the saber, which shocked Nirvana. He stared at the silver spear in Qin Feng's hand and the green cauldron spinning above his head and almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Both of these treasures were true treasures. Even though the South Flat State was rich in resources, true treasures were rare. Nirvana was one of Yuan Tsang's great elders, but he only managed to collect a true treasure-long saber after working for 100 years. Yet, Qin Fen, who looked to be in his 50s, casually took out true treasures. However, the anger in Nirvana's eyes quickly turned into greed. He stared at the green dragon cauldron and the dragon quake spear, and he already considered these two true spirit treasures as his own. A trifling middle-stage true spirit cultivator, no wonder you can kill my sect's late-stage true spirit and peak true spirit disciples, so you have a true weapon. Today, this old man will kill you, take away all your treasures, and even take away your woman, Nirvana roared. Right now, he could only roar to vent his dissatisfaction. However, Qin Feng said with disdain, "You want to steal my treasure? You're not strong enough. But don't worry, I don't care about that broadsword of yours. After I kill you, I'll auction it off or give it away. I won't use it myself." Nirvana was almost angered to death. He finally realized that his glib tongue wasn't even 1/10 as good as Qin Feng's. Yuanqiu blushed. Qin Fen's words, "You want to steal my treasure," had a deep meaning. Yuanqiu didn't know whether the treasure he was talking about was the true weapon or herself, or both. Web debut Yuanqiu immediately shook her head and cast aside these messy thoughts. She didn't know what was wrong with her. She didn't have any feelings for male cultivators before, but now she was thinking about this kind of thing in such a critical situation. There were explosions in the distance as Qin Feng and Nirvana fought again. After fighting for a while, Qin Feng could clearly feel his current cultivation. With the strength of his true essence, he could actually match up to a Nihility God stage level 1 cultivator. If he used all kinds of true weapons and high-level martial skills, killing a Nihility God stage level 1 cultivator would be a piece of cake. The reason Nirvana hadn't died yet was because Qin Feng had purposely preserved his strength. He was using this old man to practice, but Nirvana clearly didn't know. After another hard clash, Qin Feng retreated unharmed. Nirvana was beaten until he lost his temper. He angrily glared at him and shouted, "Humph! You can't kill me even with so many true weapons. What trash!" Qin Feng chuckled and said, "Are you in such a hurry to die? How about I fulfill your wish?" Nirvana admitted that it would be difficult for him to kill Qin Feng. This brat was clearly a true spirit realm cultivator, but his true essence was shockingly powerful. He even suspected that even the few 7-star sects in the South Flat continent didn't have such a genius disciple. However, Nirvana also realized that Qin Feng couldn't kill him. After all, there was a difference in cultivation levels. Moreover, there were almost no true spirit realm cultivators killing hollow gods in the South Flat continent. Even if there were, it would be a rare few in the entire continent. Ha! Even if I stand here and let you kill me, how can you kill me? Nirvana said and really stopped attacking. He crossed his arms in front of his chest and looked at Qin Feng with a playful expression. At this moment, Yuanqiu finally heaved a sigh of relief. She didn't even think that Qin Feng could kill Nirvana. She was already thankful that Nirvana couldn't kill Qin Feng. "Brother Qiao Feng, let's go," Yuanqiu shouted. However, just as she finished speaking, Qin Feng disappeared in a golden light. When he reappeared, he was already hovering above Nirvana's head. The silver spear in Qin Feng's hand had turned into a wide long saber. The blade was black and seemed to have the ability to devour, sucking in the surrounding light. The instant confinement appeared, Nirvana's expression changed. He realized that it was another true artifact treasure saber. Moreover, it was of a higher level than the silver spear Qin Feng used before. It was at least a high-grade true artifact. Confinement was a supreme-grade true artifact that was infinitely close to an immortal artifact. When the long saber fell, the space shook and waves of strange energy rippled. It was as though the surrounding magnetic field had changed. At this moment, with Qin Feng as the center, the surrounding time stopped. Even the flow of air stopped. The energy ripple spread extremely quickly. Back when Qin Feng was still in the 7 changes of Buddha aura, he could only stop time within a 500-meter radius with confinement. Now that he was in True Spirit Realm 4, he realized that everything within a 10-mile radius seemed to have entered another space. Realm. You actually comprehended realm. This was the second time Qin Feng had encountered a situation where he couldn't confine an enemy. The last time was when he killed the North Star sect leader Bai Xiaofeng. Bai Xiaofeng had the same shocked expression as Nirvana and said the same thing. However, although Bai Xiaofeng and Nirvana could speak, their bodies seemed to be affected by the confinement. They could only stand in the distance and be unable to move. When Qin Feng heard the word realm again, countless white lights suddenly flashed in his mind. The Heart Sutra of Creation unknowingly began to circulate automatically. He seemed to have a hazy understanding of the realm, and this understanding was born from the confinement strike. When he stepped into True Spirit Realm 4, the power of the confinement increased. Not only did the range of the attack increase, but the time he could freeze space also increased. Qin Feng suddenly felt that in this realm, he was the master. Even if a hollow god realm cultivator stepped into this realm, they could only be killed by him. Realm. Formed realm. Anyone who enters will die. Qin Feng muttered to himself. The white lights flashing in his mind gradually became clearer. Although the countless pieces of information didn't form a complete picture, he knew that he had entered the threshold of realm. Rumble. When the dominating aura surged in his heart, Qin Feng swung his saber without hesitation. The ferocious saber qi struck Nirvana with the momentum of a dragon emerging from the sea. The latter didn't even have a chance to dodge. After a loud noise, his body bloomed like fireworks. Rumble. Qin Feng's last attack was too fierce, and the aftermath of the explosion lasted for a long time. The duration of the confinement increased by more than double. After a full minute, the white light that enveloped a radius of 5 kilometers suddenly disappeared. Little brother Chow Feng, are you okay? Yuanqiu rushed over immediately. She felt dizzy and couldn't remember what had just happened. But before Qin Feng could answer, she saw Nirvana, who had died tragically on the ground. Although she couldn't identify him from the flesh and blood all over the ground, the broadsword on the ground was the weapon Nirvana had used before. Nirvana is dead. Yuanqiu looked incredulous. Qin Feng landed on the ground motionlessly after the last strike. He was still comprehending the elegance of that strike and the mystery of realm. When he opened his eyes again, he immediately put away Nirvana's storage ring and broadsword. He grabbed Yuanqiu's hand and quickly left. When Yuanqiu asked why, he didn't have time to explain. Less than half an hour after the two of them left, 5 cultivators arrived. The one with the lowest cultivation was at the void spirit state middle stage, while the one with the highest cultivation was at the body condensation state. Realm appeared here. The void spirit state middle stage man frowned. The body condensation state cultivator's eyes were filled with shock as he said, "It's realm without a doubt, and its comprehension has already reached small success. It formed a realm with a radius of 5 kilometers. Even if I'm at the body condensation state early stage, this is the best I can do." The expressions of the remaining people changed. They could all feel the remnant aura in the air. This should be the aura left behind by an early stage nihility god stage cultivator and a middle stage true spirit stage cultivator. If the early stage nihility god stage cultivator had already comprehended the realm to the small success stage, this was definitely something unimaginable. Let's go and see which void spirit state cultivator has such outstanding comprehension. He must be at least from a 6-star sect, or even one of the few 7-star sections. These people subconsciously thought that Nirvana, who was at the void spirit state early stage, had comprehended realm. They didn't dare to imagine that it was Qin Feng, who was at the true spirit realm, who had comprehended realm. If this news spread in the South Flat state, even the few 7-star sects would be alarmed. At this moment, Qin Feng had flown hundreds of kilometers away with Yuanqiu. In order to not be caught, he took out the flying cloud owl. His speed was so fast that Yuanqiu couldn't believe it. "Brother Chow Feng, what kind of flying device is this? How can it be so fast?" "Sister Yuanqiu, this is a true artifact flying device. Of course it's fast." Actually, the flying cloud owl was a product of Star Saint technology, so it couldn't be classified by the Divine Supreme Continent's flying devices. However, Qin Feng realized that the flying cloud owl's speed was about the same as a high-grade true artifact flying ship. Chapter 1877. Yuanqiu was shocked to learn that the flying ship they were on was a true artifact magic treasure. She was suddenly very curious about Qin Fen's identity. She didn't know which big sect Qin Fen was from, but the items he had on him were all true artifacts. His realm had also risen very quickly, and he had even killed a void god stage powerhouse at the middle stage of the true spirit realm. Along the way, Yuanqiu kept thinking about how Nirvana had been killed, but she couldn't remember what had happened. It was as if that memory had disappeared. "Little brother Chow Feng, are you in a hurry to go somewhere?" Yuanqiu didn't want to think about it anymore and started talking about other topics. Qin Fen looked around and was relieved when he confirmed that no one was chasing them. He didn't know that his realm had reached small success, but he realized that the realm was very powerful. Otherwise, the two void god stage cultivators, Bai Xiaofeng and Nirvana, wouldn't be so shocked. Qin Fen had learned his lesson from breaking through the thunder tribulation in the northern sand continent, so he was more cautious this time. He realized that someone would come to ask him, so he immediately left with Yuanqiu. However, he couldn't explain this matter, so he just said, "By the way, Sister Yuanqiu, why are you still on the 0th floor even though you've been here for more than 10 days? Yuanqiu looked at Qin Fen strangely. Little brother Qiao Feng, this isn't the 0th floor. This is the 4th palace. Qin Fen was shocked. Ha! This is the 4th palace. So the Mountain of Life's array teleports directly to the 4th palace. Little brother Qiao Feng, what are you talking about? Yuanqiu was confused. Qin Fen immediately shut up. He didn't plan on telling Yuanqiu about the Mountain of Life. It wasn't that he didn't trust this woman, but that this matter involved too many people. If the news leaked out, the Xinghuan sect and the ancient Cauldron sect's Hong Fei would cause trouble for him. Sister Wanqiu, is there anything special about the 4th palace? Qin Fen changed the topic. However, Qin Fen had observed along the way. The 4th palace only had level 3 and level 4 spirit herbs and low-level spirit beasts, so it didn't attract Qin Fen's interest. Yuanqiu said, the first few floors of the 13 palaces are very ordinary. The number of floors represents the level of the spirit herbs, spirit beasts, and materials in the palace. For example, this is a 4-floored palace. Most of the things here are LV4 spiritual herbs and beasts. There are also LV4 blacksmithing materials and formation materials. Qin Fen finally understood. He immediately thought of going to a higher palace. If what Yuanqiu said was true, then wouldn't the 9th palace be filled with level 9 spirit herbs and materials? What kind of treasures would appear in the 10th palace? Could it be immortal herbs and immortal beasts? At the same time, Qin Feng thought of what Hao Yue had said, the danger level increases with every level. It is said that the South Flat Continent has existed for tens of thousands of years, but the number of cultivators who can enter the 13th level can be counted on one's fingers. As long as one can enter the 9th level, he or she would be considered a true elite and would benefit greatly. No wonder the 9th palace was used as the location. Qin Fen suddenly understood the reason behind it. In fact, Yuanqiu didn't need him to say much. She also wanted to go to a higher-level palace as soon as possible. However, after talking for a while, Qin Fen realized that one couldn't go to a higher-level palace just because one wanted to. One had to first find a teleportation array, and the teleportation array on each floor was hidden and not fixed. Either a formation master could find it, or it depended on a cultivator's luck. Qin Fen started to rejoice that he was a LV5 spirit formation master. He set up a LV5 concealment array on the Flying Cloud All and activated the Flying Cloud All's concealment function at the same time. He began to drive the Flying Cloud All while looking for the teleportation array to the 5th palace. The 4th palace was much bigger than Qin Fen had imagined. After flying for a day and a night, he hadn't even covered half of the palace. Qin Fen realized that finding the array was not an easy task. He suddenly looked at Yuanqiu, who was cultivating quietly. Sister Wanqiu, didn't you eat the spirit cleansing pill I gave you? There are too many pill toxins in your body. It will affect your cultivation. Qin Fen checked Yuanqiu's aura. Yuanqiu opened her eyes and said shyly, Brother Qiao Feng, the spirit cleansing pill is too precious for me. I don't dare to eat it casually. Moreover, I haven't obtained a void advancement pill yet. I plan to obtain a void advancement pill and reach the peak of the true spirit realm before eating the spirit cleansing pill to try to break through the void. Qin Fen understood Yuanqiu's thoughts. In fact, she wasn't the only one. 90% of the cultivators in the Divine Continent had the same thoughts. Most cultivators weren't alchemists, and they wouldn't become a LV4 elixir king at such a young age like Qin Fen. The pills they needed to break through had to be bought or obtained from the sect. How could they be as carefree as Qin Fen, who ate pills like they were bubble gum? After understanding Yuanqiu's concerns, Qin Fen took out 3 jade bottles and handed them over. Yuanqiu opened the jade bottles doubtfully and was immediately dumbfounded. Spirit cleansing pill. Void advancement pill. She only recognized 2 of the bottles. As for the light yellow pill in the 3rd bottle, she had never seen it before. Even so, she was already shocked to the extreme. Qin Fen smiled and said, Sister Wanqiu, take these pills to break through. I believe that with the help of the spirit cleansing pill and the void advancement pill, you can smoothly step into the empty spirit realm. As for the last bottle, it's the fragrant consciousness pill. It can repair the sea of consciousness. Repair the sea of consciousness. Yuanqiu was already stunned by Qin Fen taking out the void advancement pills, but when she heard about the effects of the last bottle of pills, she jumped in shock. That's right. It's to repair the sea of consciousness. I can see that Sister Wanqiu's sea of consciousness has some old injuries. If it's repaired, your cultivation will greatly increase. Qin Fen originally didn't plan on taking out the fragrant consciousness pill because there were no pills that could repair the sea of consciousness in the northern sand continent. As for whether there were any in the southern sand continent, he wasn't sure. He was afraid that if the news of the fragrant consciousness pill spread, it would cause a sensation in the northern sand continent like when the spirit surge pill had appeared. Given his current strength, he was far from being able to protect himself in the southern sand continent. Once the news of the fragrant consciousness pill leaked, he could only escape back to the northern sand continent. However, after seeing that Yuanqiu's sea of consciousness had been injured, Qin Fen finally took out the pill. He trusted Yuanqiu very much. This woman would help him keep his secret. This is also a pill that you refined. Brother Qiao Feng, don't tell anyone else about this bottle of fragrant consciousness pill. Otherwise, you will get into trouble. As far as I know, there are no pills that can repair the sea of consciousness in the entire southern sand continent. I will definitely help you keep your secret. There was no need for Qin Fen to say anything. Yuanqiu started to worry for him. Qin Fen felt a surge of warmth in his heart. He knew that he hadn't misjudged him. Sister Wanqiu, don't worry. I understand these principles. Qin Fen's face was solemn. Yuanqiu immediately understood. With Qin Fen's calm personality, he naturally wouldn't do such a reckless thing. The reason why he took out the fragrant consciousness pill was because he trusted her completely. It felt good to be trusted by someone. For a moment, Yuanqiu had the urge to cry. She and Qin Fen had known each other for less than half a month and had only met twice. However, when her fellow disciples in the sect abandoned her, it was this little man she had just met who stepped forward bravely. Brother Qiao Feng, thank you. I don't even know how to repay you. Yuanqiu's pretty face was slightly red, and a hint of flirtatiousness flashed in her clear eyes. These emotions weren't an act. She truly felt that she owed Qin Fen too much. However, at that moment, Qin Fen instinctively thought of the classical Chinese saying, a debt of love must be repaid with the flesh. Thus, he subconsciously glanced at Yuanqiu's perky chest, and a nefarious fire rose in his belly. Sister Wanqiu, you don't have to be so polite. Just focus on breaking through. Take these spirit crystals and use them. If you don't have enough, I still have more. Qin Fen quickly suppressed the flames and took out 10 spirit crystals. He had obtained these spirit crystals from the spirit quintessence pool on the Life Mountain. After using them up for his breakthrough last time, he still had nearly 1,000 spirit crystals left. When Yuanqiu saw the spirit crystals, she was shocked once again. She knew about spirit crystals, but this was her first time seeing them with her own eyes. Yuanqiu couldn't imagine what kind of powerful background Qin Fen had. She even thought that even the few 7-star sects in the South Flat continent didn't have such a wealthy disciple. The spirit calming pill was used by late-stage true spirit cultivators to break through. It was a level 5, level 7 pill king. Qin Fen was only a level 4, level 7 pill king, so he couldn't refine this kind of pill yet. He had obtained this bottle of spirit calming pill from the storage ring of void destruction, who he had killed not long ago. Although there was only one bottle, Qin Fen didn't care and gave it all to Yuanqiu. He believed that once he reached the late-stage true spirit, his alchemy skills would have broken through to level 5, level 7 pill king. At that time, he would be able to refine spirit calming pills at any time. As for the void-breaking pill, it was one of the most difficult pills to refine among level 5, level 7 pill kings. Qin Fen's void-breaking pill had been given to him by Daoist Barefoot. Daoist Barefoot had not only given him the void-breaking pill, but he had also given him a bottle of immortal Buddha pills and a bottle of void transformation pills. When he thought of Daoist Barefoot, Qin Fen thought of the incomparable battle in the North Sand continent, as well as the death of City Lord Ouyang Jun and many of his good friends. His heart immediately burned with rage, and he couldn't wait to kill his way back and take revenge. After Yuanqiu's emotions gradually stabilized, she began to enter a state of cultivation. She was so grateful to Qin Fen that she couldn't even think of how to repay him. When the medicinal effects of the fragrant consciousness pill and the spirit cleansing pill took effect, Yuanqiu felt her sea of knowledge quickly recover. The range of her divine sense also increased, which was a wonderful feeling. There was also a lot of elixir poison in her body. After some of the poison was expelled from her body, it formed mud-like filth on her skin. Yuanqiu seemed to dislike the sticky feeling, so she took off her clothes and used a clear water art from time to time to wash her body. She had completely forgotten about Qin Fen's existence. When that wonderful body was revealed without any cover, Qin Fen's eyes widened, and he couldn't help but stare at it. Yuanqiu's figure was perfect. There wasn't a trace of excess fat on her body. Because of her cultivation, her entire body exuded spiritual qi, as if she was a fairy that had descended to the mortal world. Chapter 1878. You broke through. I actually broke through. After cultivating for less than a day, she had successfully broken through to True Spirit Realm 8. Even if it was something that had really happened to her, Yuanqiu still could not accept it. She thought that if she hadn't met Qin Feng, it would have taken her at least half a year to break through at a normal speed. Moreover, she would have needed the help of a spirit tempering pill and enough spirit stones to break through. However, the spirit tempering pill was already a level 7 king pill. It would have been very difficult for Yuanqiu to obtain it with her connections. Now, she even had a void breaching pill. She had also used a fragrant sense pill to repair her divine sense C, and she had taken a pure panacea to expel the pill toxins in her body. Now that she had successfully broken through, her body felt as if it had been liberated, and the pleasure she felt was indescribable. Little brother Qiao Feng, what are you looking at? Yuanqiu calmed down from her surprise. She realized that Qin Feng didn't congratulate her after she broke through. Instead, he was staring at her with a strange expression. When Yuanqiu followed Qin Feng's gaze and looked at her chest, she immediately blushed. Ah! What's going on? I forgot you were still here. Yuanqiu discovered that she was completely naked. She quickly remembered that she had taken off her clothes when she was dispelling the poison. She realized that Qin Fen must have stared at her body for a while, but she did not feel disgusted. Instead, she sighed at Qin Fen's strong willpower. Even under such circumstances, he did not lose control of himself. Yuanqiu was very confident in her looks. She was rated as the #1 beauty of the Tianhu sect, and because of her beauty, she was somewhat famous in the South Pingzhou continent. At this moment, she actually felt a trace of disappointment. Could it be that brother Qiao Feng didn't like her? However, this trace of disappointment quickly disappeared and was replaced by endless shock. When Yuanqiu looked at the spirit crystals under her feet, she saw that she had already used up 20 spirit crystals. She had also set up a level 5 spirit gathering array in the cabin. The spirit gathering array absorbed the spirit chi inside the spirit crystals, forming a small spirit chi vortex above her head. No wonder she had broken through so quickly and smoothly. This realm was completely achieved by using resources. Yuanqiu's talent was not considered very good in the Tianhu sect, so her treatment was average. She had never experienced the treatment of using cultivation resources to improve her realm. Now that she had experienced it, she was fascinated. Little brother Chao Feng, did you arrange this spirit gathering array? You took out another 10 spirit crystals? Yuanqiu looked at Qin Feng gratefully. She even forgot to put on her clothes and let Qin Feng's gaze move all over her body. Qin Feng suddenly came back to his senses. He awkwardly looked away and said, "Congratulations to Sister Wanqiu for reaching True Spirit Realm 8. I believe that in less than 3 months, you'll be able to step into Hollow God Realm." Qin Feng's estimate of 3 months was a conservative estimate. If Yuanqiu stayed by his side, he had a way to help this woman become a void god in half a month. Although he did not directly admit that there was a level 5 spirit gathering formation, Yuanqiu immediately understood with her intelligence. For a moment, she was completely shocked. Who exactly was this brother Chao Feng? He was able to kill a virtual god at such a young age, and he was also an elixir king and a level 5 spiritual array master. Even the 7-star sects of the South Flat Continent would find it hard to produce such a peerless genius. Big Sister Wanqiu, do you want to put on some clothes first? Qin Feng suddenly asked. Yuanqiu was so embarrassed that her body was about to burst into flames. She never thought that there would be a day when a man would remind her to put on clothes. Her previous dress was covered in dirt. Yuanqiu took out a light purple dress from her storage ring and put it on. This was her favorite set of spiritual armor, and it made her look elegant and moving. Yuanqiu did not understand why she was wearing this dress at this time. The atmosphere and the flying cloud all became awkward. Yuanqiu was hiding something in her heart. She thought highly of Qin Feng's gentlemanly behavior, but she also felt inexplicably disappointed. After experiencing a narrow escape from death not long ago, Yuanqiu suddenly had a bold idea. She had lived for so long and only focused on cultivation, so she did not know what it was like to do things between a man and a woman. She wanted to try it out with Qin Feng. If Qin Feng had taken the initiative to do something, Yuanqiu felt that she would not have rejected him. Just as she was lost in her thoughts, the cabin shook, and she immediately woke up. "Ha! Little brother Chao Feng, why did you stop?" Yuanqiu noticed that the flying cloud all had landed, and there was a group of cultivators less than 500 meters away from the flying ship. There were a few powerful auras among those cultivators, and even Yuanqiu, who had just broken through, felt suppressed. There were no rules in the 13 palaces. Ordinary cultivators would avoid people as much as possible to avoid accidents. However, Qin Feng had actually placed the soaring cloud all in the path of that group of cultivators. Yuanqiu couldn't understand why. "Big Sister Wanqiu, stay on the flying cloud all and don't come down. I'll go take care of those bastards." Without waiting for Yuanqiu's reply, Qin Feng had already jumped off the flying ship. It turned out that he had seen a few cultivators from God's finger. It was really a small world for enemies. "Ha! Elder Mou, there are people blocking the way." Shen Shuhan's brows furrowed. In the 13 palaces, his cultivation at the peak of the true spirit realm was only considered below average. During these days of treasure hunting, God's finger cultivators had been very careful. The other disciples immediately revealed vigilant expressions. Shen Mou used his divine sense to quickly scan the area. He immediately saw Qin Feng walking over with large strides, and his expression changed unpredictably. Ha! I was just worried about not being able to find this brat. I didn't expect him to come here to die. Shinemo Yu suddenly laughed. At this moment, the other disciples also saw Qin Feng. They all had different expressions. They could not understand why this guy dared to come looking for them. Could it be that he was tired of living? Elder Mou, be careful. That brat seems to be tricking us. Shin Shuhan warned. Shinemo Yu still had a smile on his face. He had already used his divine sense to scan the area within a radius of a few thousand meters. There were no other cultivators nearby, only the ship behind Qin Feng, and there was only one aura on the ship, which was only at the level 8 true spirit. While everyone was thinking, Qin Feng had already landed on his flying sword. He was less than 20 meters away from the crowd. Shin Shuhan's eyes suddenly widened. He pointed at Qin Feng as if he had seen a ghost and shouted, You brat, broke through to true spirit realm 4. How is that possible? When he shouted like this, the others also noticed that something was amiss. 10 days ago, when he had just entered the 13th palace's level 0, Qin Feng was still at the Buddha Light 7 changes. At that time, he had killed the sect leader's only son, Shin Wuxing. In the blink of an eye, how did he step into the true spirit middle stage? Only Shinemo Yu remained calm as he coldly said, Humph. This brat was originally at true spirit realm 4, he had been hiding his strength a few days ago, otherwise how could he have killed young Master Wuxing in one move? Now that he has come at the right time, as long as we capture him alive, I believe that the sect leader will not blame us. Chapter 1880. After blocking the rainbow lights, Qin Feng flicked his finger again. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. This time, the wind whistled through the air. Shinemo Yu's eyes were filled with shock. He finally realized that Qin Feng had secretly learned the God's Finger's top-notch sword technique, 8-pulse godly sword. Moreover, this brat had created a new sword technique that allowed the 8-pulse godly sword to be invisible. Rumble. He slapped out and blocked Qin Feng's sword rainbow. Although he was unharmed, Shinemo Yu's expression was extremely serious. He couldn't understand how Qin Feng could learn 8-pulse legendary sword in such a short time and even create a new sword technique. He even suspected that this brat had learned 8-pulse legendary sword long ago. However, this thought was quickly denied by Shinemo Yu. One had to know that 8-pulse legendary sword was a top sword technique that God's Finger didn't teach to outsiders. Even inner sect disciples couldn't learn it. Only core disciples or elders had the right to learn it. However, the truth was right in front of him. God's Finger couldn't avoid it. He coldly asked Qin Feng, Where did you learn 8-pulse legendary sword? Qin Feng smiled. Where else can I learn it from? Of course, I learned it from you. Don't stop. Show me a few more moves so I can learn more. Shinemo Yu was furious. He realized that Qin Feng wasn't just strong, he was also good with words. Do you think I'm an idiot? The 8-pulse divine sword is the top sword skill of my sect. Even for a genius cultivator like me, to be able to reach this level of sword skill, I have to painstakingly study it for more than 50 years. You and I have only fought for the time it takes for 2 incense sticks to burn, how could you possibly learn this sword skill? Without learning the fortune of heaven and earth art, one couldn't understand Qin Feng's powerful comprehension ability. Qin Feng knew that there was no point in explaining this. Sometimes, even he didn't dare to accept it. That only means that your talent is too poor. 50 years of learning isn't as effective as 5 minutes of learning from me. Even someone like you can become the great elder of God's Finger. Is your sect about to close down? Ayayaya. God's Finger is one of the few 5-star sects around Pan Shan City. Even in the entire South Pingzhou, it's not a small sect. How could it close down? You dare to be so arrogant after learning a little. If I don't kill you today, I'll change my surname to yours. Qin Feng jumped in fright. Don't take my surname, it's too embarrassing. Shinemo was so angry that his entire body trembled. He decided not to waste any more words with Qin Feng. He would take this person's head and bring it back to the sect leader of God One Finger to ask for forgiveness. In his rage, Shinemo didn't hold back at all. Both of his hands changed forms as he attacked. Immediately, hundreds of rainbow-colored lights appeared in the sky. Those rainbow-colored lights were all as thick as a person's waist. They traversed the sky and formed a marvelous scene. The scenery was very beautiful. It was as if someone had split the sunset into several pieces. However, Yu Wanqiu, who was hiding inside the flying cloud was not in the mood to appreciate it at all. A layer of cold sweat formed on her palms as she prayed for Qin Feng in her heart. This is the highest level of the 8-pulse divine sword that you have comprehended. It is indeed quite powerful. When he saw the rainbow that filled the sky, Qin Feng's eyes lit up. This action made God Mo so angry that he almost died. The azure dragon cauldron above his head spun rapidly. The overlapping cauldron shadows blocked Qin Feng's periphery layer after layer. However, this time, the rainbow-colored lights were extremely powerful. When they collided with the cauldron shadows, they easily passed through as if they were cutting through tofu. Seeing that the sword rainbow-colored lights had all gathered in front of him, Qin Feng finally realized the danger. He stopped comprehending the martial arts that he had secretly learned and immediately slashed at the void. It was a long, black, and domineering broadsword. It seemed to have the ability to devour, causing the surrounding light to dim. When the long broadsword slashed down, the air trembled. A strange energy rippled out and instantly enveloped a 10-mile radius. Within the 10-mile radius, the air froze, and time stopped. The sword rainbow-colored lights that filled the sky quickly stopped. A few sharp sword lights were already hovering at the tip of Qin Feng's nose. However, after the confinement strike was formed, the rainbow-colored lights seemed to be frozen and could no longer move. Whoosh! A golden light appeared under Qin Feng's feet. He shuttled through the sky full of rainbow-colored lights and quickly arrived next to Shinemo. Shinemo's consciousness had not disappeared. His eyes were filled with shock and astonishment, but his body could not move. It was the same as Elder Destruction, who had been killed by Qin Feng with the confinement strike not long ago. What is this? Shinemo's voice was trembling. Actually, the moment he saw the confinement strike, he thought of a possibility, but he could not accept this reality. It is what you are thinking. Qin Feng's tone was cold. Shinemo even forgot that he was in danger. He looked at Qin Feng as if he had seen a ghost and said, what realm are you in? Just as you can see, a true spirit realm 4 cultivator. Then how can you understand the existence of the realm? Isn't this a realm that only empty God realm cultivators can touch? I said, your talent is too poor. You can't compare to me. The path of cultivation is ever-changing and there are no absolute rules. It's just that in the past, there has never been a true spirit realm cultivator who understood the realm, but it doesn't mean that a true spirit realm cultivator can't understand the realm, and I have done it. Qin Feng's words were very profound. It was like the life maxim of a peerless cultivator. Shinemo realized that he had no power to refute. At that moment, he even started to agree with Qin Feng's words. Who said that a true spirit realm cultivator could not kill an empty God realm? Couldn't understand the existence of the realm. That had never happened in the past in the divine continent. Now that it had happened, who was this young man in front of him? If he was allowed to develop like this, he would probably become the second great Tao ultimate god, right? Spare my life and we'll settle our grievances. I won't tell God one finger about it. How about that? Before this, Shinemo, you would never have thought that he would one day plead with a true spirit realm cultivator. Do you think that's possible? In the end, his pleading failed. As Qin Feng finished speaking, he stretched out his fingers. Instantly, dozens of sword rainbows shot out and dyed the sky red. Before he died, Shinemo Yu's eyes were wide open. He suddenly believed that Qin Feng had never learned the 8-pulse divine sword before. This guy really learned it secretly at the last minute. He actually learned it secretly. Learned it secretly at the last minute. Even when he died, Shinemo Yu could not accept this fact. However, this was not important. He had already received the news from the divine continent. When Qin Feng re-entered the flying cloud auger, a softness fell into his arms and Yuanqiu's fragrance entered his nose. Little brother Qiao Feng, are you okay? I was so worried. Yuanqiu hugged Qin Feng tightly and refused to let go. Qin Feng felt the softness and immediately felt very awkward. He could only pretend that nothing had happened. He gently patted Yuanqiu's back and said, "Don't worry, big sister Yuanqiu. What could possibly happen to me? I killed Silent Destruction not long ago, and those guys just now were not that strong. I've already killed them all." Yuanqiu let out a long sigh of relief. Although Qin Feng said it lightly, she knew that there was an empty god in the crowd just now, and his aura was even stronger than Silent Destruction's. You killed God's fingers, people? Yuanqiu recognized Shinemo Yu's clothes. The God's fingers symbol was engraved on his chest. Qin Feng did not hide it. That's right. Those people were God's fingers people. I had some conflicts with them. When I was teleported to the 13th Palace's 0th floor, they wanted to kill me. Now, I've taken revenge. Yuanqiu did not care about the grudge between Qin Feng and God's finger. Even if Qin Feng was in the wrong first, Yuanqiu would still stand on his side. However, when she thought about how Qin Feng had killed Elder Yuanzang and God's finger, Yuanqiu was very worried. They were all 5-star sects on the divine continent. Big sister Yuanqiu, you don't have to worry about me. It's best if those 5-star sects don't provoke me. If they really provoke me, I'll just destroy their entire sect. Qin Feng could see through Yuanqiu's concerns. Destroy a 5-star sect. Not many people in the South Flat continent would dare to say such arrogant words, but Yuanqiu believed Qin Feng's words. Although she had not known Qin Feng for long, he had surprised her time and time again. She gradually felt that Qin Feng was omnipotent. After gradually calming down, Yuanqiu realized her ambiguous actions with Qin Feng. She immediately ran back to her room shyly, her heart beating like a little deer. Then, she thought about Shinemo Yu's death, but she couldn't remember how Shinemo Yu was killed. It was as if she had temporary amnesia again, which made Yuanqiu even more confused. Ding! Congratulations to host Qin Feng for creating the Shadowless Divine Sword Martial Technique. The system rewards host Qin Feng 300,000 Hedonist points and 1 Moon Fragment Stone. Host Qin Feng's total Hedonist points, 729,000. The system's notification sounded. This was the quest that Man had issued a long time ago: collect supreme cultivation methods and martial arts techniques. Qin Feng had secretly learned the 8-pulse godly sword and combined it with the shadowless sword to create his own shadowless godly sword. Qin Feng checked the Moon Fragment Stone. This was the first time he had seen this palm-sized stone. It was uneven, and the material was very special. It seemed like jade, but not jade. According to the system's introduction, this was a rank 6 refining material. When he found out that this stone was a refining material, Qin Feng suddenly thought of something. When he opened the Heaven Rainbow interface, he discovered that the rank 6 material, Moon Fragment Stone, was one of the main materials to create the Heaven Rainbow. Qin Feng greatly yearned for the celestial artifact Heaven Rainbow. His supreme grade true artifact, Imprisonment, was already so powerful. He believed that once the Heaven Rainbow was created, its power would be even more ferocious. However, he only had the Moon Fragment Stone as a material. He didn't know when he would be able to create the Heaven Rainbow. After collecting his thoughts, Qin Feng went into seclusion. He had comprehended the 8-pulse divine sword not long ago, so there were some things he needed to stabilize. Little brother Qiao Feng, there are many people gathered there. It's very likely that it's the entrance to the 5th floor of the palace. After an unknown amount of time, Yuanqiu's surprised shout traveled into his ears. Chapter 1881. At the foot of a green mountain, there were about 100 cultivators gathered. These cultivators were of different realms, but most of them were experts in the true spirit realm. As for the Buddha light cultivators, there were very few of them, and there were even some empty gods among them. Sui Sui Meng Xiao. La Qinfen and Yuanqiu's arrival did not attract the attention of the crowd. The two of them were only true spirit cultivators, and their strength was considered average among the crowd. This must be the magic array that leads to the 5th palace hall. Judging by the strength of the magic array, it should be disappearing soon. The magic array can only allow 5 people to pass through at a time. Everyone, hurry up and line up. A man in green with long hair was shouting in the crowd. After he expressed his opinion, the noisy crowd immediately quietened down and began to line up according to his method. Qin Feng hadn't been in the South Flat Continent for long, so he didn't know much about the sects here. As if seeing his confused expression, Yuanqiu moved closer to his ear and whispered, "Little brother Qiao Feng, the person who spoke is Wanqi Feng, a 6-star formation sect. I heard that he's already a rank 5 spirit formation master. Don't underestimate the Wanqi Feng just because the Wanqi Feng is a 6-star sect that specializes in formations. Their strength is close to that of a handful of 7-star sections. So Wanqi Feng's status was so high, no wonder everyone listened to his arrangements." However, Qin Feng didn't ask about the few 7-star sects in the South Flat Continent because he didn't care about them. The reason why he came to the South Flat Continent was to find opportunities to break through quickly. Once his strength reached a certain level, he would kill his way back to the North Sand Continent. "Hey! You two want to stand in front of us? Are you courting death?" While Qin Feng was lost in his thoughts, an extremely arrogant shout came from behind him. Yuanqiu hurriedly pulled on his arm and used her eyes to tell him not to cause trouble. Qin Feng turned around and saw 3 cultivators standing behind him. Since he and Yuanqiu had arrived rather late, there was no one else behind these 3 cultivators. Unexpectedly, the 3 cultivators also wanted to cut in line. The man who shouted was at the peak of the true spirit realm, while the other 2 were at the 6th true spirit realm and 8th true spirit realm. These 3 completely suppressed Qin Feng and Yuanqiu in terms of cultivation, so it was no wonder they wanted to cut the line. "Yo! Brother Fei, look! That girl is really pretty. That's not right. Why do I find this woman so familiar? Is she the #1 beauty of the Tianhu sect, Yuanqiu? You 2 guys can't cultivate fast enough, but your eyesight is better than the other. This woman is Yuanqiu. I've been in love with her for a long time." No matter where it was, a hero could not resist the charms of a beautiful woman. However, the 3 men in front of them were clearly not heroes, and they were unable to resist the temptation of Yuanqiu's beauty. When she realized that her appearance had caused trouble, Yuanqiu blamed herself. She even wondered if she should cover her face with a scarf. What do you want to do? Qin Feng's cold voice traveled into Yuanqiu's ears while she was thinking. The male cultivator called Brother Fei glared at him and roared at Qin Feng, "A mere level 4 true spirit ant is still standing here waiting for death. Hurry up and get lost for this, daddy." Are you deaf? Did you not hear what Brother Fei said? The two lackeys were captivated by Yuanqiu's beauty and impatiently wanted to scare Qin Feng away so they could make Yuanqiu their plaything. The three of them were loose cultivators, so they had nothing to fear. At worst, they would never go to the area near the Tianhu sect again. The South Pingzhou state was so big, so finding a person was like finding a needle in a haystack. Yuanqiu already understood the three's intentions, and her clear eyes shot out a cold glint. However, before she could do anything, Qin Feng continued, "This young master is in a good mood today. If you don't want to die, hurry up and scram." His words stunned Brother Fei and the other two, and they even suspected that there was something wrong with their ears. The quarrel attracted the attention of many people, but no one stood up to help or stop them. As a cultivator of the South Pingzhou state, the first rule of cultivation was to mind your own business. However, watching a show was the hobby of cultivators. When they saw that Qin Feng was only at level 4 true spirit, many people revealed disdainful and playful expressions. "Ha! I didn't hear wrong, right? You're telling me to scram." Brother Fei glared and a ferocious aura surged from his body. This guy had probably been stuck at the peak stage of the true spirit realm for a long time without being able to break through. His aura was much stronger than a normal peak stage true spirit realm cultivator, and there was a hint of the aura of a void god realm cultivator. Under the pressure of this powerful aura, even Yuanqiu found it hard to breathe. However, Qin Feng's expression did not change as he suddenly slapped out. Bang! It was not a slap, but the sound of something heavy hitting something. Brother Fei screamed as he flew into the air and swayed like a kite with a broken string. A golden light flashed and the sky exploded. Brother Fei's body bloomed like fireworks, and a peak stage true spirit realm expert died just like that. Hiss! Many people sucked in a breath of cold air. The cultivators with playful and disdainful expressions immediately retracted their expressions. They didn't even dare to look at Qin Feng's eyes. The two people with Brother Fei finally came to their senses and immediately ran. However, before they could run more than 100 meters, their bodies exploded. Oh my god! Wasn't that youth at level 4 true spirit realm? How could he kill a peak stage true spirit realm cultivator so easily? He doesn't look more than 40 years old, but he has such powerful skills. He's at least a disciple from a 6-star sect. I don't think he's a disciple from a big sect. Plus, his appearance is most likely due to a beautifying elixir. As for his cultivation, he must have used a top-notch concealment technique to hide it. The crowd discussed among themselves. Qin Feng acted as if he didn't hear anything and pulled the stunned Yuanqiu toward the front of the crowd. Originally, he didn't plan on cutting the queue. This kind of behavior was not recognized in China, but in the Divine Continent, where the strong preyed on the weak, Qin Feng was forced to do so. If he didn't show off his strength, there would always be trash like Brother Fei coming to provoke him. Most likely, the crowd had been frightened by Qin Feng's display of might. The crowd parted to form a golden path. After walking for more than 50 meters, Qin Feng stopped. There were some sect disciples in front of him. Although there were 3- and 4-star sects, Qin Feng had no intention of joining them. He could oppress those independent cultivators, but he didn't plan on going against the sections. If he cut in front of the 3-star and 4-star sects, it might cause many sects to unite and boycott him. At that time, if 3 or 4 void god realm cultivators jumped out, he would be dead meat. At this time, the 6-star and 5-star sects at the front of the line had already entered the teleportation array. They didn't even pay attention to the movements on Qin Feng's side. To them, it was as if they had a higher status and looked down on independent cultivator factions. Yuanqiu saw Yu Zhong and the others in the front of the group, and a ripple appeared in her limpid eyes. Qin Feng was observant, so he reached out and patted her shoulder. This simple action immediately calmed Yuanqiu's depressed mood. Compared to getting to know little brother Qiao Feng, being abandoned by a sect disciple is nothing, Yuanqiu muttered to herself. In fact, there was another important reason why Qin Feng didn't continue to cut in line. He was a rank 5 spirit array master. Although he couldn't see what rank the teleportation array in front of him was, he could feel the energy fluctuations of the array and knew that it would last for at least the time it took for 3 incense sticks to burn before disappearing. Based on the current speed of entering, it should be his and Yuanqiu's turn in less than 2 incense sticks of time. Otherwise, Qin Feng would have to forcefully rush into the 5th palace with Yuanqiu even if he had to turn the world upside down against these sections. Just as he had predicted, it was his and Yuanqiu's turn in less than 2 incense sticks of time. Qin Feng had already noticed that this teleportation array didn't teleport in a specific direction, so he took the initiative to grab Yuanqiu's hand before entering. Little brother Qiao Feng, Yuanqiu was stunned for a moment. She felt that Qin Feng's subtle action was similar to the feeling between partners. Qin Feng knew that she had misunderstood his intentions, but he didn't explain. He leaped and jumped into the array with Yuanqiu. There was a sharp pain in his mind. When he opened his eyes again, the scene in front of him had changed greatly. It had changed from the boundless plains and mountains to a maze of mountain peaks. Because the mountain peaks were too high, it obstructed his line of sight. Qin Feng tried to use his divine sense to scan the area, but he discovered that there was a formation that blocked divine sense on the 5th palace. Moreover, this formation seemed to cover the entire 5th floor. Such a powerful formation shocked Qin Feng. Senior brother. It's here, it's here. Another fat sheep has been sent over. Before the two of them could clearly observe the surrounding terrain, a burst of evil laughter came from not far away. Several sword lights pierced through the air, and after a few breaths, 6 figures rushed over on flying swords. Ah! Is this the 5th palace? I feel that the spirit qi is so dense. Where are the Luo Yun sect disciples? If you can hear me, quickly gather here. Hi Axian disciples, listen up. According to the sect master's request, we will stop at the 5th palace this time. You are not allowed to enter the 6th palace without permission. Soon after, another group of people arrived. They were the cultivators who had lined up at the same time as Qin Feng and Yuanqiu. However, Qin Feng discovered a small problem. Logically speaking, he had memorized the faces of the groups of people behind him, but the groups of cultivators in front of him were unfamiliar. This made him even more certain that the teleportation array was not a directional teleportation. Those groups of people had probably been teleported to other places. Soon, the newly arrived cultivators also realized the 6 men blocking their way. Some of them even recognized them. Aren't these the senior brothers of Heavenly Star sect? Nice to meet you. The old man standing in the middle of the 6 people blocking their way had an indifferent expression. He nodded at the middle-aged man who came to greet them and said indifferently, "You are the junior brothers of Qilin Mountain. You may leave." The people of Qilin Mountain were confused, but they could see that the 6 senior brothers of Heavenly Star sect had cold expressions and fierce auras. They realized that something was about to happen, so they immediately left. Chapter 1882. C-Core Sect Disciple Greets Seniors from Heavenly Star Sect. The crowd was stunned for a moment. Someone walked towards the 6 people who were blocking the way. This disciple thought that he could pass after greeting them, but he was slapped by a Heavenly Star sect disciple tens of meters away. Don't try to get close to us. Your C-Core sect is just a 4-star sect. What right do you have to talk to Heavenly Star sect? The C-Core sect disciple was stunned. He didn't know why the other party was so angry. C-Core sect didn't have any conflicts with Heavenly Star sect. At this moment, many smart people saw the truth. The reason why the Chelan Mountain disciples were able to leave safely was because the Chelan Mountain was the same as the Heavenly Star sect, a rare 5-star sect in the South Flat Continent. However, this group of Heavenly Star sect cultivators were clearly here to rob them, and they were the typical type of people who bullied the weak and feared the strong. Elder Chin He, can I bring my junior brothers and sisters over? Another person walked out. It was a 5-star sect. Indeed, Chin He nodded and didn't stop the group of 5. At this moment, everyone understood Heavenly Star sect's intentions. Among the remaining 20 to 30 cultivators, there were no 5-star sect disciples. I believe that everyone has understood. In that case, I won't waste any more words. Our Heavenly Star sect is a 5-star sect, after all. We will not kill the innocent. As long as you obediently hand over your storage rings, you can all leave safely. The old man in the middle spoke again. The cultivator who left earlier called him Elder Chin He. This elder's aura was as steady as the sea. Many people couldn't see through his cultivation, but Chin Feng could. This old man had already stepped into the Void Spirit Realm level 3 and was about to enter the middle stage. The old man standing beside Chin He was also at the Void Spirit Realm, but he was 1 level lower than Chin He. He was at the Void Spirit Realm level 2. There were 4 other people who were all at the peak stage of the True Spirit Realm. When Chin Feng saw through their cultivation, he immediately realized that they had prepared to rob him before entering the 13th palace. This was because Chin Feng had seen quite a few 5-star sects after entering the 13th palace. He had even killed cultivators from Yuansang and God's Finger. Those 5-star sects were at most led by a Void God Realm Elder, and they didn't have many peak True Spirit Realm cultivators. Even so, Chin Feng wasn't afraid of these people. At the same time, he wouldn't help other cultivators. This was the South Flat Continent, the graveyard of heroes. A few cultivators had already handed over their storage rings. Resisting in front of 2 Void God Realm Ultimate Gods was equivalent to courting death. Although he was complaining in his heart after handing over the ring, this was the rule of the Divine Continent. Everything depended on one's fists. A peak True Spirit Heavenly Star disciple walked over to Chin Feng's side and coldly shouted, "What are you waiting for? Hurry up and hand over your storage ring. Otherwise, your storage ring will still fall into our hands after we kill you." Yu Wancho secretly pulled on Chin Feng's arm. When they met Brother Fei's group of 3 who cut the line, she wasn't too worried. After all, she had seen Chin Feng kill Void God Realm experts, so True Spirit cultivators couldn't threaten him at all. However, the other party had 2 Void God Realm experts on their side this time. Moreover, Yu Wancho could sense that their auras were extremely powerful. They were even more powerful than God One Finger's Elder Shinamo Yu. Shinamo Yu was already at Void God Realm level 2. So one could imagine how terrifying the 2 Elder Tianxing's strength was. At that moment, Yu Wancho didn't think that Chin Feng could defeat Heavenly Star's group of 6. However, she discovered that her persuasion was ineffective. Chin Feng still maintained his own way of doing things. "Hand over your storage ring, and I can spare your life." This was Chin Feng's first sentence, but it was enough to shock everyone present. The cultivator who was about to rob him was dumbfounded. He suspected that there was something wrong with his ears. Yu Wancho helplessly covered her forehead. At that moment, she really wanted to pry open Chin Feng's head to take a look. As for the cultivators who were teleported over, they all recognized Qin Fen. This young cultivator had gone on a killing spree in the fourth palace not long ago, killing 3 late-stage true spirit cultivators in a row. Some people suddenly felt hope, thinking that Qin Fen might be able to help them escape. However, these people quickly fell into an even deeper despair. Even if Qin Fen could really defeat Heavenly Star's group of 6, he would still force them to hand over their storage rings in the end. This was the law of survival in the Divine Continent. It was a world where the strong preyed on the weak. Damn it! Is there shit in your head? I'll cut it open for you. After the Heavenly Star disciple came back to his senses, he was instantly enraged. He waved his hand and summoned a golden flying sword. His eyes flickered with a playful smile, as if he could already see Qin Fen's head being cut off by this sword. The smiling face was still there because the male cultivator's face had already frozen. He fell to the ground with a smile before he died. Blood gushed out from his body, causing the crowd to cry out in alarm. Dead? That Heavenly Star cultivator is dead. It's not strange for that senior to die. After all, this young hero killed a peak true spirit cultivator in a second. I'm looking forward to seeing if he can defeat the 2 Heavenly Star elders. Killing a peak true spirit cultivator in a second, this young hero is too abnormal. Qin Fen ignored the crowd's discussion. He didn't have time to care because 2 powerful divine senses had already locked onto him. It was the 2 Void God Realm elders from Heavenly Star. He quickly discovered something. Although the 5th palace had an array that could block divine senses, it seemed that the array was too old and its effects had weakened. Therefore, it was still possible to search with divine senses within a small area. How dare you, Ant! How dare you kill my Heavenly Star disciple? You're courting death. The Void God Realm Level 2 cultivator struck out with his palm. There was a sword chi hidden in his palm. He thought that this attack would be able to kill Qin Fen in a second, but he found out that Qin Fen had actually dodged his attack. Who are you? Why are you hiding your cultivation? Chen Pai was shocked. He began to suspect that Qin Fen was also a Void God Realm cultivator. It was just a simple move, but it stirred up a storm in the hearts of the crowd. The 2 peak true spirit disciples from Heavenly Star, who originally wanted to attack, immediately took a step back. Even Elder Chen Pai couldn't kill him, so they would only be sending themselves to their deaths if they went up. Chen He's eyes flashed with shock. With Qin Fen's true spirit realm level 4 cultivation, he was an existence that was completely ignored. Who would have thought that this unremarkable brat would become the biggest threat to Heavenly Star? When he thought about the disciple that Qin Fen had killed in a second and how Qin Fen had easily dodged Chen Pai's attack, he felt uneasy. He suddenly said, "You can take your friend and leave." His words shocked the crowd. Everyone was looking forward to a huge battle, but they didn't expect Heavenly Star's head elder Chen He to let Qin Fen go. This person had killed a genius disciple of Heavenly Star. Even Yu Wanqiu hadn't expected such an outcome. She was pleasantly surprised and quickly tried to pull Qin Feng away. However, Qin Feng stood there like a mountain and said indifferently, "I'll stay if you want me to stay and leave if you want me to. Who do you think I, Chao Feng, am? Leave your storage rings and scram today, or die by my hands. P.S. Happy New Year." Chapter 1883. Chen He was stunned. The group of cultivators was dumbfounded. Yu Wanqiu wanted to pinch Qin Feng's waist hard to wake him up. The other party was ready to let them go, so why were you still trying to fight back? No one could understand Qin Feng's thoughts, and he was such a person. He would never suffer a loss. Even if he encountered an enemy he could not defeat, he would work hard to break through his realm. Once he was strong enough, he would immediately kill his way back to take revenge. Since Tian Xing's group of 5 could not threaten him, Qin Feng could kill them on the spot. Senior, the Buddhist sect is willing to fight alongside you. Disciples of the 7 Seas, listen up. Fight against the enemy with Senior. The 13 palaces only open once every 10 years. We worked so hard to get a spot to enter, so why should we hand over the treasures we obtained? At worst, we'll just fight those Tian Xing bastards. After a brief silence, a few groups of people stepped forward. When they saw this scene, Heavenly Star and the other 4 people's faces darkened. Yuanqiu was a bit surprised. She really didn't expect these sect's disciples to choose to fight to the death. In fact, everyone hated and despised Heavenly Star's act of robbery. This kind of act of stealing the fruits of other people's labor should not be allowed in public. Yuanqiu also had a belly full of anger, but because the other party was too strong, she did not show it. Now that everyone had stood up, she no longer cowered. Little brother Qiao Feng, I will die with you. Yuanqiu pulled out the soft sword at her waist. Qin Feng's heart was filled with warmth. How many people in this world would be willing to die with you? However, Qin Feng did not plan to ask for help because the highest realm in the group was only at the peak of the true spirit realm. Most of the cultivators had just entered the true spirit realm. Even if these people helped, they would not be of much help and would instead become a burden to Qin Feng. Humph. You bunch of reckless ants. Since you want to die, I will fulfill your wish. When Chen He came back to his senses, his expression was extremely cold. He hated Qin Feng very much. It was all because of this brat. However, before he could make a move, Qin Feng shouted, "Everyone retreat. I will kill these bastards alone." Everyone was speechless. They had seen pretentious people, but they had never seen someone as awesome as Qin Feng. Yuanqiu anxiously said, "Brother Qiao Feng, the enemy is too strong. I'm afraid you can't deal with them alone." Qin Feng had already taken out the azure dragon cauldron. As the cauldron spun, it formed overlapping cauldron shadows that surrounded him. He held 4 banners in his hands. They looked like 4 array flags, which were confusing. They're just a few ants. I don't care about them. Qin Feng roared. His words were so arrogant that the crowd was speechless. Tian Xing's group of 5 had 3 peak true spirit cultivators and 2 nihility god realm elders. If a faction like this was considered an ant, then there wouldn't be any major factions in the South Flat state. But at this time, the 7-colored ghost face soul streamer had already fallen, trapping Tian Xing's group of 5 in the formation. All of this happened too suddenly, leaving everyone confused. Even Tian Xing's group of 5 didn't expect that Qin Feng would have this kind of magic weapon. They just thought that this kid was setting up a formation. A mid-stage true spirit cultivator dared to set up a formation in front of 2 nihility god realm masters. Chen He and Chen Pai had already thought of sarcastic words to say to Qin Feng, but they forcefully swallowed them. Chen He exclaimed, "This is one of the 8 holy items of ghost cultivators, the 7-colored ghost face soul streamer." Chen Pai also came to his senses. It's the 7-colored ghost face soul streamer without a doubt. Rumor has it that this magic weapon can form its own formation and can trap nihility god realm cultivators. It also hides a divine sense attack. No wonder that kid is so arrogant. He has such a magic weapon. Hearing that Qin Feng took out a holy item of ghost cultivators, everyone was shocked. Tian Xing's 3 peak true spirit cultivators panicked and said things like, "I'm going to die," infuriating Chen He. All of you shut up. Isn't it just a magic weapon called the 7-colored ghost face soul streamer? Look at how scared you are. This soul streamer is actually a formation. If everyone attacks together, we'll be able to break the streamer very quickly. At that time, I'll personally capture that kid and tear him into 1,000 pieces. Rumble. Before Chen he could finish cursing, a loud explosion came from within the soul streamer. The commotion was so loud that everyone felt the ground beneath their feet violently shake. Someone cried out in shock. Look, where did that lightning come from? Damn! What kind of lightning is this? It's simply the lightning tribulation of a nihility god realm cultivator. My god, that's not lightning tribulation. It's Senior's lightning attack. The sky was instantly filled with black lightning, forming a turbulent sea of lightning that exploded within the soul streamer. Soon, everyone saw the situation clearly. The black lightning was coming from a strange-looking weapon in Qin Feng's hand. That weapon was not like a sword or a spear. It was definitely something that everyone had never seen before. The power of this weapon was incomparably ferocious, even to the point that it was unimaginable. Just which senior is this? Why haven't I heard of his name before? Instantly killing a peak true spirit cultivator and wiping out a group of nihility god realm cultivators. This kind of thing can only be done by a body condensation realm expert, but that senior's cultivation is only at true spirit realm 4. The shock that Qin Feng brought to everyone was too intense. Even Yuanqiu was dumbfounded. She hadn't known Qin Feng for long, but she was shocked by the strength he displayed time and time again. Half a month ago, Qin Feng was only at the Buddhist Light 6 changes, but now he was at True Spirit Realm 4. Moreover, he had killed 2 Nihility God Realm experts a few days ago. Now, he was even wiping out a group of peak True Spirit cultivators and Nihility God Realm cultivators. These cultivators, who were considered above average in the South Flat Continent, were like ants to Qin Feng. After more than 10 waves of lightning bolts landed on the Soul Banner, Chen He and the other 4 were blasted into smithereens. The thunder had yet to stop. Qin Feng felt extremely carefree. He had been badly struck by the black lightning at the Life Mountain half a month ago. Now, he could finally watch his enemies get struck by lightning. When he put away the ghost face soul streamer, the crowd had yet to recover from their shock. He took Chen He and the other storage rings and left with Yuanqiu. Yuanqiu finally came back to her senses after flying a few thousand meters away. This time, she didn't suffer from amnesia. When she recalled the terrifying black lightning that filled the sky, she couldn't help but shiver. Little brother Qiao Feng, just who are you? Yuanqiu asked subconsciously. Big sister Wanqiu, I have some difficulties that I can't tell you. Anyway, you just have to believe that I won't harm you. Yuanqiu wasn't worried about this. She was just curious, but she didn't continue asking when she saw that Qin Feng wasn't willing to tell her. Yuanqiu was puzzled when she saw that there were many level 5 spirit herbs and spirit beasts on the way, but Qin Feng didn't have any intention of stopping. Little brother Qiao Feng, aren't we going to pick those spirit herbs? Chapter 1884. Qin Feng didn't say that he actually wanted to enter the 9th palace. Otherwise, Yuanqiu would have been shocked. Although the 13 palaces opened once every 10 years, the South Plateau continent had existed for tens of thousands of years. The palaces had opened thousands of times, but the number of cultivators who could enter the 9th palace could be counted on one hand. Although Yuanqiu felt that it was a pity for the level 5 spirit herbs along the way, since Qin Feng had made up his mind, she would do as he said. Yuanqiu didn't realize that she had unknowingly begun to regard Qin Feng as the leader. It took them another 3 days to find the entrance to the 6th palace. When Qin Feng found the array at the entrance, there weren't many people lining up like in the 4th palace, which made the two of them feel relieved. Little brother Qiao Feng, is this the entrance to the 6th palace? You really are a master of array formations. Yuanqiu watched in shock as Qin Fen threw out dozens of array flags and a wall of light appeared in the air. She couldn't accept how powerful Qin Fen was. He was an elixir king, a master of array formations, and a cultivation genius. There was no time to explain. Qin Fen suppressed his excitement and pulled Yuanqiu into the teleportation array. After a moment of dizziness, the scene in front of them changed from a labyrinth-like mountain range to a boundless basin landscape. The spirit chi concentration in the 6th palace was clearly higher than in the 5th palace, but the basin was also filled with mist and an array formation that blocked divine sense. At that moment, Qin Fen thought of a possibility. The entire 13 palaces probably had an array formation that blocked divine sense, but the effect of the array formation had disappeared or was not very obvious in the first 4 palaces. Qin Fen couldn't imagine how big the 13 palaces were. He didn't know how the almighty expert who had set up the array formation had done it. Little brother Qiao Feng, have we reached the 6th palace? Yuanqiu woke up after Qin Fen checked the surroundings. Qin Fen was relieved when he realized that there were no robbers on this floor. The higher the palace, the higher the realm of the cultivators who could enter it. Back in the 5th palace, Tianxing and the others were at the peak of the true spirit realm and void spirit realm. If there were robbers on this floor, they would at least be at the middle or late stage of the void spirit realm, or even at the body condensation realm. Qin Fen could kill an early-stage Nihility God realm cultivator with his current cultivation base, but he wasn't confident that he could kill a middle-stage Nihility God realm cultivator. Even if he used the 100-mile sniper rifle, it would be difficult for him to kill a middle-stage Nihility God realm cultivator because a cultivator of that realm would have multiple clones and it would be very easy for him to escape. After the two of them adjusted their emotions, they immediately left the place. They originally thought that there would be many level 6 spiritual herbs and spiritual beasts in the 6th floor of the palace. However, after walking around for a long time, they did not even see the shadow of a weed. Brother Qiao Feng, did we teleport to the wrong place? Yuanqiu was a bit disappointed. Qin Fen suspected that he had been teleported to the wrong place. It was said that there was a secret realm hidden in every level of the 13 palaces. Could it be that he had been teleported to the secret realm of the 5th palace? However, he immediately denied this conjecture. If he had really been teleported into the mystic realm, he should have seen even more treasures. While the two of them were lost, they vaguely saw a few silhouettes in the fog hundreds of meters away. Normally, Qin Feng would have avoided them in the opposite direction when he saw them. However, in their current situation, he could only brace himself and chase after them with Yuanqiu. Senior Marshal Brother Zhong, someone is catching up. Who are you? What do you want? There were 4 people moving forward in the fog. When Qin Fen and Yuanqiu approached, the crowd suddenly stopped. They could feel the ferocious aura emanating from their bodies rippling in the fog. Before Qin Fen could speak, Yuanqiu screamed when she sensed the other party's aura. Yu Zhong. It's you guys. A black silhouette flew out of the fog and landed less than 5 meters away from Qin Fen and Yuanqiu. Now, both of them could clearly see that the 4 people were the disciples of the Sky Lake sect. Upon seeing these people, Yuanqiu could not help but recall the scene of them abandoning her a few days ago. Her heart immediately turned cold. At the same time, she realized that the Sky Lake sect's disciples were missing 2 people this time. They had probably been killed along the way. However, Yuanqiu could not be bothered to ask too much. She no longer considered herself a disciple of the Sky Lake sect. Sister Yuanqiu. Junior Sister Yuanqiu, you're fine. When they saw Yuanqiu, they were shocked. They quickly noticed Qin Fen standing next to her. When Yu Zhong saw Qin Fen, a cold look flashed in his eyes. He realized that this guy was most likely Yuanqiu's lover. The two of them had worked together to kill Yuanzang's Ji Shi, which was why head elder Yuanzang wanted to kill Yuanqiu. After examining Qin Fen and discovering that he was only in the true spirit realm, Yu Zhong immediately relaxed. He revealed a joyful expression and walked in front of Yu Wanqiu. Junior sister Wanqiu, it's great that you're fine. Don't blame your senior brother. You should know what happened earlier. Your senior brother was powerless. Yu Wanqiu coldly snorted in her heart. After what happened earlier, she finally saw Yu Zhong's true colors. She coldly said, Yu Zhong, I plan on withdrawing from the Sky Lake sect. In the future, we'll be strangers. Yu Zhong's expression darkened and his tone became cold. Junior sister Wanqiu, what do you mean? Are you blaming me for my previous decision? Are you happy that I caused everyone to die at Elder Yuan Song's hands to save you? Moreover, aren't you fine now? Yu Wanqiu felt disgusted by Yu Zhong. If Qin Fen hadn't appeared in time, how could she still be alive? Perhaps she would still be alive, but she would have definitely become a plaything for Nirvana and the others. That kind of life would be better than death. You don't need to say any more. Little brother Qiao Feng, let's go. Yu Wanqiu didn't want to waste her breath with him. She didn't expect Yu Zhong to step forward and block the two of them. What do you want? Yu Wanqiu was enraged and coldly glared at him with her beautiful eyes. There was no trace of a smile on Yu Zhong's face. He was so cold that he was about to freeze. It seemed like he planned on completely shedding all pretense of cordiality. What do I want? You bitch, in order to survive, you gave your body to Yuan Song and the others to play with. You've really lost the face of our Sky Lake sect. Since you don't know how to behave yourself, then you should serve the four of us. We can't let all of our benefits go to outsiders, right? Yu Wanqiu was stunned and stared at Yu Zhong in disbelief. She clearly didn't expect him to say such beastly words. What nonsense are you talking about? When did I mess around with Nirvana and those bastards? Ha! Do you think I'm stupid? If you didn't sell your body, why would Nirvana and those old guys let you go? Don't tell me it was that wild man beside you who appeared in time to save your life. He's only at True Spirit Realm 4. Do you think he could kill Nirvana, who was at Void God Realm Level 1? Chapter 1885. Yu Wanqiu angrily shouted, it was little brother Qiao Feng who saved me. Otherwise, I would have died a long time ago. I am no longer a disciple of the Heavenly Lake sect, and we have nothing to do with each other. Please stop bothering me. You bitch. You're happy to be played by others, but you're annoyed when you let your fellow disciples play with you. The Heavenly Lake sect has nurtured you all these years. You're simply ungrateful. Yu Zhong was just standing there and talking. Yu Wanqiu was so angry that she was about to cry. She didn't want to waste any more words with the beast in front of her. She wanted to pull Qin Feng away, but she found that Qin Feng was standing there without moving. Qin Feng's indifferent voice rang in her ears. Since you were once from the same sect as Big Sister Wanqiu, I'll give you a way out. Immediately kneel and kowtow 10 times, then slap yourself 10 times as an apology to Big Sister Wanqiu. Otherwise, only death awaits you. Qin Feng's domineering words stunned everyone, especially the 3 disciples behind Yu Zhong. They looked at Qin Feng as if they were looking at an idiot. They could see that Qin Feng was only at True Spirit Realm 4. They didn't know where this brat got his courage from to behave so atrociously in front of senior brother Yu Zhong, who was at the peak of the True Spirit Realm. Ha! Is there something wrong with your brain? You want me to kneel and apologize? Do you believe that I won't slap you to death with one palm? When Yu Zhong came back to his senses, he couldn't stop laughing. Halfway through his laughter, his expression became cold again. Junior brothers, you must have been eyeing Yu Wanqiu's beauty for a long time. How about we taste her together today? Two of the three junior brothers were Yu Zhong's lackeys and usually listened to him. Now that there was such a good thing, the two of them jumped out without even thinking. Senior brother Yu Zhong is so righteous. He even thought of junior brothers for such a good thing. Senior brother Yu Zhong, why don't you play with big sister Wancho in front of that stinky brat? Just thinking about it makes me excited. The two of them lecherously looked at Yu Wancho, completely ignoring Qin Feng who was standing to the side. The other junior brother felt that this was a bit inappropriate, but the current situation did not allow him to retreat. If he said anything against it, he would probably be killed by Yu Zhong in the next second. You bunch of beasts, you actually have such disgraceful thoughts. Yu Wancho found it hard to accept the reality before her eyes. When Yuan Sang and the others had expressed such thoughts a few days ago, she had only been incomparably angry. Now, besides being angry, she felt even more incredulous. One had to know that the fellow disciples of the Divine Supreme Continent were like family to her. Now, her family was coveting her beauty. Were these people crazy? Such beastly behavior enraged Qin Feng, who had a transcendent state of mind. He casually waved his hand and a sword ray flashed. The sword ray was too fast. Before Yu Zhong could figure out what was going on, the three disciples standing next to him had already fallen to the ground. Puchi. The sound of the skin-cutting body was very soft, but it sounded like thunder in the silent valley. When he heard the sound of blood, Yu Zhong felt a strong sense of uneasiness. Then, he heard a loud explosion. The three junior brothers lying on the ground were already dead. You bitch, you dare to attack your fellow disciples? Yu Zhong suddenly looked at Yu Wancho. He thought it was Yu Wancho who had done it. On the other hand, Yu Wancho had a complicated expression on her face. Although she hated Yu Zhong and the others, they were all disciples of the same sect. Now that Qin Feng had killed them all, she couldn't put her feelings into words. You so wrong. It was me who did it. Qin Feng's gaze fell on Yu Zhong's face. Yu Zhong suddenly felt a chill. When he met Qin Feng's gaze, he felt as if he had fallen into the 18th level of hell. He could not understand how this brat had cultivated such a strong killing intent. How many people did he have to kill to form such a strong killing intent? However, when he remembered that the opponent was only in the True Spirit Realm 4 and Yu Wancho was only in the True Spirit Realm 7, Yu Zhong immediately calmed down. Humph. Since a bitch like you is so heartless, don't blame me for being unintentional. I will first kill your wild man and then ruthlessly teach your body a lesson. When Yu Zhong attacked, a cold smile flashed through Yu Wancho's eyes. She was not worried about Qin Feng at all. It was as if she could already see Yu Zhong's miserable death. In just a few short seconds, Yu Wancho's mentality had undergone a complete change. The struggling and complicated emotions had completely disappeared. She knew that some people deserved to die. Rumble. A loud sound rang out. Just as she had guessed, Yu Zhong was unable to block Qin Feng's attack and his body exploded. Yu Zhong's eyes were filled with fear and disbelief. He was the same as Yuan Sang and the other divine finger cultivators. He could not understand how Qin Feng could be so powerful. To the current Qin Feng, killing a peak True Spirit Realm cultivator wasn't worth mentioning. He couldn't even be bothered to look at Yu Zhong. And he didn't even take his storage ring because this kind of person made Qin Feng feel disgusted. The two of them had already flown dozens of miles away on their flying swords. Qin Feng had left in such a hurry because he was afraid of making Yu Wancho sad. However, he realized that he might have been thinking too much. Yu Wancho's complexion looked quite good. Little brother Qiao Feng, there are many people over there. It seems to be the entrance to the 7th palace, Yu Wancho suddenly exclaimed. Qin Feng had already seen the situation a few hundred meters away. In the middle of a flat valley, there were hundreds of people gathered. The weakest among them was at the true spirit realm. There were 20 to 30 void god realm cultivators. There were also 5 or 6 auras that Qin Feng could not see through. The cultivation strength of the South Flat continent shocked Qin Feng once again. He had encountered so many void god realm cultivators and cultivators of higher realms in just one exploration of the secret realm. If this kind of lineup was brought to the North Sand continent, it would definitely shock the entire North Sand continent. Qin Feng and Yuanqiu had been in the 6th palace for a day, but they had not gained anything. Aside from the spirit qi on this level being denser, there were pitifully few spirit herbs and spirit beasts. There were not even as many treasures as in the 5th palace. When the array to enter the 7th palace appeared in front of them, the two of them flew over without a second thought. Everyone, don't fight. Please line up according to your sect and individual strength. The array in front of you is most likely the array to enter the 7th palace. The array can still last for an hour, so I believe everyone can be teleported in. As soon as they landed, a deep voice came from the sky. Qin Feng and Yuanqiu recognized the person who spoke. It was Wan Qifeng, who had organized everyone to enter the 5th palace a few days ago. At that time, everyone had said that this person was the young elder of the 6-star array sect, the 10,000 array sect. Qin Feng had not paid much attention to it. Now that he looked at Wan Qifeng, he discovered that this person's aura was as strong as the sea. He was one of the few experts in the crowd whose realms Qin Feng could not guess. Regardless of whether it was the 6-star array sect, the 10,000 array sect, or Wan Qifeng's identity, no one dared to offend him. Under Wan Qifeng's leadership, the rowdy crowd voluntarily lined up. When Qin Feng looked at the teleportation portal, he discovered that Wan Qifeng was right. This teleportation portal could still exist for a while, so it wouldn't be a problem to transport everyone in. Knowing this, Qin Feng did not mind. He and Yuanqiu lined up at the back of the crowd. After waiting for the time it took for 2 incense sticks to burn, it was their turn to enter. Qin Feng also grabbed Yuanqiu's lily-white hand and jumped into the array. When they opened their eyes again, their eyes shone brightly. The environment in front of them had changed greatly. They were in a medicine garden. This medicine garden was huge, and it was filled with all kinds of spirit grasses and spirit pearls. When they landed, they heard people shouting, "We're rich! We're rich!" The lowest level spirit grass in this medicine garden is level 5, and there are more level 6 and level 7 spirit grasses. There are even level 8 and level 9 spirit grasses. I think I know where this is. This is not the 7th floor of the 13 palaces. This is the legendary secret realm of the 6th palace, the Medicinal Valley. What? This is the Medicinal Valley. So the legends are true. When someone shouted, "Medicinal Valley," the cultivators who came in went crazy. Even Elder Wan Qifeng's eyes shone brightly. Wherever there were treasures, there would be fights. There were already a few groups of forces fighting over the spiritual herbs, and there were even a few cultivators in the middle stage of the Nihility God realm. The huge commotion caused the entire small valley to shake. However, halfway through the fight, someone shouted loudly, "No! There is an array in this medicine garden. We can't get the spirit grasses at all." The people who were fighting suddenly woke up and stopped their attacks. A gray-haired old man suddenly jumped out of the crowd. His silhouette floated in the air. It was as if he was shrouded in a layer of fog, making it hard for people to see through him. When this person appeared, the crowd cried out in surprise. It was obvious that this person's identity was not to be underestimated. Qin Feng could already feel the boundless aura from his body. He was one of the few venerables whose realms he couldn't see through. Rumble. Under the little old man's seemingly soft palm, a small part of the medicine valley shook violently, but the palm did not destroy the spirit herbs in the medicine garden. A barrier of light appeared in the sky above the medicine garden, blocking the little old man's attack. It's actually a grade 9 defensive array. Which supreme being set up this array? Wan Qifeng's surprised voice rang out. This news caused a commotion among the crowd. The entire medicinal valley is covered by a grade 9 defensive array. What a great technique this is. There have long been rumors that the 13 palaces are just immortal treasures in the hands of the exalted immortals. I didn't believe it in the past, but now I'm a little convinced. Could it be that the exalted immortals really exist? In front of those people, even the 7-star sects of the South Flat Continent are ants. The medicinal garden protected by the grade 9 defensive array is like the moon in the water. We can see it but not touch it. Then why are we still wasting time in this mystic realm? The crowd's joy had mostly faded. Some even sighed. Coming to this mystic realm was simply a waste of time. Now, they didn't even know how to get out. The little old man who launched the attack had already landed on the ground with a bitter expression. Wan Qifeng sat cross-legged on the ground, as if he was refining array flags. When they knew that they couldn't get the spirit grasses in the medicinal valley, the sects who were fighting earlier stopped. The crowd started to search for the exit of the mystic realm. If they were trapped here for 2 months, then this expedition to the 13 palaces would be a waste. Chapter 1886. While everyone was busy with their own tasks, Qin Fen was observing the many herb gardens in the valley. Soon, he discovered some patterns. The herbs in these medicinal gardens were planted in different categories. Some medicinal gardens were filled with rank 5 spiritual herbs, while some were filled with rank 6 spiritual herbs. There were also some medicinal gardens that specialized in refining healing elixirs, while others were refining elixirs for advancement. After discovering these patterns, Qin Fen realized that this valley was definitely man-made. To be able to cultivate a herb garden in the secret territory of the 13 palaces, one could imagine how powerful the person behind the scenes was. For a moment, Qin Fen thought of the herb garden in the secret territory of the fallen god island, the mountain of life that he went to when he first entered the 13 palaces, and the secret territory of the 6th palace that he was in now. These places were all man-made, and they used these special environments to cultivate certain items. Such a powerful method shocked Qin Fen. He realized that he had only seen the tip of the iceberg of the divine continent. After these messy thoughts flashed through his mind, Qin Fen quickly calmed himself down. After exploring the herb garden of the fallen god island mystic realm, he realized that the herb valley before him was somewhat similar to the mystic realm. There was a protective array around the herb garden, but just as Wan Qifeng had said, the herb valley's array was a grade 9 defensive array. Qin Fen didn't think that he could break the level 9 defense formation. He knew that the spiritual herbs in the valley couldn't be taken away like the spiritual herbs in the herb garden on the fallen god island. Even if all the cultivators present attacked together, they couldn't break the level 9 defense formation. However, Qin Fen discovered some clues. There was another type of formation hidden within the rank 9 defense formation. As for what kind of formation it was, he was not sure yet, but the faint but real aura of the formation could not escape his eyes. I found the formation to leave the secret territory. Everyone, line up and leave in an orderly manner. A shout stirred the crowd. Everyone looked at Wan Qifeng. It turned out that he was refining formation flags to find the exit of the secret territory. A white light appeared in the void in front of Wan Qifeng. It was the same formation that everyone came in through. However, Wan Qifeng didn't jump into the formation first. He sat cross-legged on the ground and threw formation flags in all directions. This formation was temporarily opened by me. I need to keep throwing formation flags and spirit stones to maintain it. I'll go out after you guys leave, Wan Qifeng said. Looking at his pale face, it seemed that maintaining the formation in front of him was difficult. The crowd immediately flew over, and many of them were very grateful. I heard that Wan Qifeng's elder is modest and caring for all living beings. Today, I can see that it is indeed true. Thank you, Wan Qifeng. After the 13 palaces, Hu Chong from the Heavenly Rapier sect will personally pay you a visit. Let's not talk. Let's hurry and leave here to buy time for Wan Wan first. Some of the cultivators had already jumped into the light wall, so the rest of the cultivators didn't have the time to thank Wan Qifeng. They immediately lined up and left. In just half an hour, all the cultivators in the Medicine Valley had left, leaving only Qin Feng and Yuanqiu, who were at the back of the line. When Yuanqiu walked to the side of the formation, she looked at Wan Qifeng gratefully. Then, she waited for Qin Fen to grab her hand again and leave this place together. Cultivators, 1, 1, 1, and 1, 1, 1, 1. 1, 2, 1, in. I can't hold on to this formation for much longer, Wan Qifeng said anxiously. Yuanqiu pulled Qin Feng's arm. Yuanqiu looked troubled. She quickly pulled Qin Fen's arm, but Qin Fen said, Elder Wan Qifeng, my friend, and I don't plan to go out. The spirit qi here is very dense. We plan to cultivate here. Yuanqiu and Wan Qifeng were stunned. The 13 palaces only opened once every 10 years and were only open for 3 months each time. Once the 3 months were up, all the cultivators would be teleported out. Plus, the number of people entering the 13 palaces was limited. Every cultivator who was lucky enough to enter the 13 palaces would race against time to enter the higher palaces or collect more spirit herbs and materials. Who would have thought that Qin Feng would do the opposite and actually plan to cultivate here? His idea was too strange. He was probably the only cultivator who thought this way. It was no wonder that even Wan Qifeng was shocked. However, Yuanqiu quickly came to her senses. Although she hadn't known Qin Feng for long, she knew that he was an extremely mysterious and mature man. Since he wanted to cultivate in the Medicinal Valley, he naturally had his reasons. Therefore, Yuanqiu didn't plan on going out. Young Junior, your idea is very stupid. There are many treasures in the 13 palaces, and it was not easy for you to reach the 6th palace. Why don't you go outside to look for treasures and opportunities instead of wasting time here? Wan Qifeng tried to persuade him. Qin Feng made up his mind and said firmly, Thank you for your guidance, Elder Wan Qifeng, but I still plan on staying here. Elder, you should leave quickly. Don't waste time here because of my stupidity. A cold glint flashed in Wan Qifeng's eyes. He suddenly stood up, and the light wall floating in the air disappeared. Yuanqiu was shocked and cried out involuntarily, Not good. The formation to get out is gone. Elder Wan Qifeng, how are you going to get out now? Yuanqiu didn't understand the situation. She thought that she and Qin Feng had caused Wan Qifeng to stay in the Medicinal Valley, so she immediately felt guilty. Qin Feng smiled and said, Sister Wanqiu, don't blame yourself. Elder Wan Qifeng is a level 5 spirit array master, and it's not difficult for him to open the teleportation portal temporarily. With Elder Wan Qifeng's array skills, he can open the teleportation portal at any time. Then why didn't he leave? He even told the others that he couldn't support the formation. Yuanqiu was confused. Qin Feng acted as if he didn't see the coldness in Wan Qifeng's eyes and said, because he wanted to trick everyone and stay. What? Why would he do that? Yuanqiu couldn't understand. Because he has a way to enter the medicinal garden. Wan Qifeng's eyes flashed with surprise, and he immediately stared at Qin Feng coldly. Ha! You have exceeded my expectations. You can see through so many things in such a short time. But there is one thing I really don't understand. Since you know my intentions, why are you still staying here? Are you tired of living? Or do you want to fight with me over the spirit herbs here with a level 4 true spirit realm cultivation? When Wan Qifeng admitted his intentions, Yu Wanqiu was shocked. As a native cultivator of the South Pingzhou state, she had naturally heard of Wan Qifeng's good name. This 10,000 array sect's young elder was righteous and kind, and he was regarded as a model senior. She didn't expect him to have another ugly side. However, after Yu Wanqiu came to her senses, she began to think about Wan Qifeng's doubts. Even she couldn't figure out Qin Feng's intentions. Now that he stayed and exposed Wan Qifeng's plan, what else could it be other than seeking death? This time, Yu Wanqiu felt despair. Even though she had seen Qin Feng kill an early Void God Realm cultivator with her own eyes, Wan Qifeng was rumored to be an ultimate God Realm late Void God Realm cultivator. No matter how powerful Qin Feng was, he couldn't beat him. Qin Feng suddenly said, "There's nothing I can't figure out. No one wants to live too long because I'm confident that you won't be able to kill us." Wan Qifeng's expression turned cold and he suddenly clapped his hands. The distance of more than 10 meters seemed to no longer exist. Almost at the same time he clapped, a powerful palm wind swept through the space where Qin Feng and Yu Wanqiu were standing. The empty space exploded into a huge crater, and the air exploded continuously. Wan Qifeng's expression changed greatly as he looked at the empty space in disbelief. However, Qin Feng's cold voice came from a herb garden on his right. "I said that you can't kill us, and this medicinal valley doesn't belong to you alone. I will help you take away most of the spiritual herbs here. You don't have to thank me." Qin Feng was in a herb garden with level 6 spiritual herbs. When he saw this scene, Wan Qifeng's eyes almost fell out of their sockets. He cried out involuntarily, "You are also a level 5 spirit array master. How is this possible?" It turned out that Wan Qifeng had also discovered the secret of the medicinal valley. This was also the reason why he had tricked the others and stayed behind. Among the many herb gardens in the medicinal valley, there was not only a level 9 defense array, but there was also a hidden level 5 transportation array that could transport cultivators into the herb garden. However, Wan Qifeng had never expected that the inconspicuous Qin Feng would actually be a level 5 spirit array master. He was not even 40 years old, so how did he become a level 5 spirit array master? One had to know that even Wan Qifeng, who was born in a 6-star spirit array sect in the South Flat Continent and had received the full support and resources of the sect, only became a level 5 spirit array master when he was 50 years old. Sensing that the situation had changed, Wan Qifeng immediately threw out array flags around the herb garden Qin Feng was in. However, before the array formation was formed, Qin Feng's cold voice sounded, "Don't try to enter my herb garden. Otherwise, when you are teleported, I will change the array at the last minute. At that time, it will be hard to say where you will be teleported to." Wan Qifeng's movements stopped abruptly and he glared at Qin Feng with eyes that wanted to devour him. "Good. What a good grandson of an ant. This old man will remember you today. You better not fall into this old man's hands. Otherwise, I will make you wish you were dead." With a furious roar, Wan Qifeng did not linger. He quickly ran to another herb garden and prepared to enter. Qin Feng heaved a long sigh of relief. His actions this time could be said to be abnormally dangerous. If Wan Qifeng really wanted to force his way into the herb garden, no one could predict what would happen in the end. When she found out that a late-stage Void Spirit Realm cultivator had been scared away by Qin Feng, Yu Wanqiu did not know what to say. She could also see that Qin Feng could not defeat Wan Qifeng. Otherwise, with his decisive character, there would be no need for him to hide in the level 9 defense array. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.